Hello friends, welcome back once again. It's been, what, a month and a half? 6 weeks, 7 weeks, 8 weeks? Math, numbers, they're all an illusion. But what's not an illusion is the beavers, because we're back here in Update 7 with the Iron Teeth. I don't even remember what we were working on the last time we streamed this. It's been so long. But we are in Cycle 15. We've got a decent small farming setup, and we did manage to fully divert the bad tides, which is what's happening over here. Got this going right off the side of the map, and then this bit right here, you can see all the nasty tendrils here, is actually just a sluice holding all of the bad water back, and it will get flushed out as soon as the bad tide is over. But aside from that, haven't really done a whole lot. This area still needs, I don't know, some sort of better solution for that. We've got some tree farms going. We've got berries being grown over here, and we started the process of trying to make some more viable water pumping and farming stuff, but it's been so long that I genuinely do not remember what I said I was going to do next. So we're just going to kind of feel it out and see what happens. Hope everybody's having a good Saturday. But yes, it has been a very, very long time. We are on a new computer now. If you see in the corner, this says 248 frames per second, which is absolutely fantastic. Now, this playthrough hadn't been very slow or laggy or anything like that, because it's still pretty early relative to the amount of time we've spent with the other ones. But wait, the stream is telling me something is up here. So you need to change the video resolution. Not supporting this configuration. Well, if you guys can see it just fine, I don't think there's a problem, is there? Well, it can stay mad. As long as you guys can see stuff and it's not cut off the side of the screen, then I'm not going to stop and restart it. But yes, I think what we'll go ahead and do is just get time moving a little bit faster here. You'll see we don't have a whole lot of food, but we have got a decent amount growing in here. And we do have a decent amount of farmhouses and beavers to man them. So I think it's just one of those things that's going to take some time for us to get everything figured out and make some progress toward actually processing food stuff. We've got corn growing here. We've got, all the way down here, a food factory that is supposed to be making corn rations. Probably could stand to have a second one right next to it. But for right now, I think we can just kind of let it be what it's going to be. It's very strange that this isn't... Okay, there it is. There it is. It just updated. So I was about to say, you know, this says it's got 36 corn rations in here, but they weren't showing up. But now we're good. Now we are. All right, so we do have a hauling post. So I'm going to go ahead and prioritize that so we don't have to have this guy slow down quite so much. Another thing I should probably mention is that I think while we do have... Go over here. We do have maybe some of these. No, none of these are bird boosters anymore. Yeah, the mod broke that I used for naming the beavers, after those of you in chat who have supported the channel. And I have not identified a suitable replacement yet that does not involve me spending 10 hours writing code for 1,500 names. So hopefully you can understand that is going to be a process that's going to just take some more time. It's not going to be a 16-hour stream. Absolutely not. I would probably keel over dead 3 times before that happened. But we are going to do our best to get some stuff done. I think it's probably unavoidable at this point to not put in a second food factory. So I am going to go ahead and get, just so I don't have to look at these later, get these 2 trees out of here, and then I'm going to build another one right next door to this. I can't really do much of anything here without putting in a levee, so I guess I'll do that. Probably, since we're not really growing food down here that much anymore, I could probably just start filling the rest of this in, but I don't want to just make it completely haphazard stuff. Yeah, get that thing out of here. Alright, good. That means that can go away, which means we can pop in another food factory here, and then take a look at how much power we're generating, because I promise you it's not going to be enough to run multiples of these as well as all this stuff. These, of course, make 400, but it's not running right now. because nothing is demanding it. And these take 120 apiece, so both of these going to be 240 plus another 75 plus another 120. That is going to be a little bit more. Oh, actually, this guy's here too. Okay, well, I said a long time ago that we were probably going to have to make a second engine over here or have some sort of other power situation set up, but I think for right now we can probably just kind of leave this alone as it is, or as it has been. Alright, get this set to corn rations. Yeah, because we're growing enough corn for this to no longer be a problem in terms of having enough food. And I think until I can figure out a better solution for a bad water here, probably is going to be best to just avoid actually growing any trees or anything on this side. So if we unplant all of this, just say bye-bye. Well, the forester doesn't necessarily have to move, and these trees can grow pretty nicely, but we have a robust enough tree farm up here where I don't think it's going to be that big of an issue. Just need to make sure we're making good use of everything. I'm going to unpause this forester, and I'm going to pause this forester for the time being. Go ahead and pause one of these lumberjack flags, and we're going to get somebody else over here to jack all of the lumber, or at least more of the lumber. Got some there. I actually probably should just put a second lumberjack flag here. Yeah, because this is where most of the trees are growing anyhow. Or at least if I put it here, I should be able to get a decent amount. I don't know, I've already got one here, but this can't reach anything. This can't reach anything over here. And this guy's not going to be able to get all of this by himself. So maybe it actually is smart to just put a second one right next to him. We got a whole bunch of people in here. Good to see everybody. Very good to see you guys back again. It's been too long since we've done streams with the beavers. Yeah, see, look how quickly that took care of that problem for us. Food is rocketing up. Obviously, we don't have the diversity in terms of crops that we probably want, but this is going to keep the beavers alive, so we can, you know, exist a little bit more than just, oh, well, what are we going to do with all these beavers when they all starve to death? But we do need to start pumping more water out, and we do have these 3 pumps here. Got this guy here. I'm going to go ahead and make another large tank. We have the materials, minus the gears. We have the materials to make one of these things and slowly start transitioning away from the medium tanks, which, honestly, if we deleted these 2 medium tanks, we'd get probably about half the gears we'd need to build this large one, and this would hold twice as much as both of these guys. So, I know we have this currently making gears. I don't have the power availability to turn this one on as well, but I think it's probably going to be fine. I shouldn't have 2 districts. I actually don't remember. Nope, just the one. Oh, bingo. Oh, yeah. Yeah, if you want to play stream bingo, there's a link in the Discord to the bingo board. There aren't any prizes, it's just a fun thing. So at some point we should probably start having a second district somewhere over here. Or, alternatively, we could get into tubeways, which we do have access to as part of the Iron Teeth. And I also went ahead and enabled the Tiny Tubeway Station mod, which is something that the Ember Pelts creator came up with. Just a 1x1 tubeway station with connections on 5 of 6 sides, including the top. And then you just have the doorway there. Versus the regular tubeway station is this large thing. And then the... where's the small... Oh, no, that's an Ember Pelts thing. The small tubeway station must be. But regardless, that's something we can get into. We technically do have the science for it, but I don't think our metal production is robust enough at this point in time to actually start building a bunch of these. But on a map like this, it would be really, really convenient to have those, because this is a 256 by 256, and we've barely scratched the surface on all the different stuff that we can do here. Another thing that we need to do, of course, is to expand our reservoir here, which I'm not exactly sure what the best way to do that would be. I think we kind of talked about this, or we might have talked about this. But this just isn't enough for us to be pumping from constantly during a large drought or bad tide. And while the donut, as it's affectionately known, is a nice thing, it also does not hold a whole lot of water, especially as we get further on in the playthrough and we're going to be consuming more and more and more stuff. But we only have 2 days left in this bad tide, so I think we're probably going to end up being okay. I think right now we probably should focus on getting these trees cut down and replanted. So let's see. Is there anybody I can pull away from other jobs? We just don't have enough beavers, honestly. They're not living long enough, and they're not working fast enough because the well-being is super low. Which, you know, early game it's pretty hard to get nutrition and all that stuff up if you don't have the facilities to handle all the food. But there are some things that we can do to slowly make a dent, like putting in these different fun and aesthetic things, since we do have a little bit of extra science. And we do have some of these things unlocked already. So most of the housing is actually within range of some of this stuff. And if we really wanted to be efficiency-minded, we could put in a little bit more of that. But I think probably what's going to make more sense is putting in something like this labor monument that can cover a bunch of stuff with one investment of, say, 200 logs. Very, very, very simple to build. And you put it in a place where most of the beavers are going to be sleeping or spending time walking through, and that ends up solving, or at least mitigating, a lot of problems. Don't have any injuries right now, so that's good. Could put some showers in. I know Kurt's not here, but we probably could put in a few of those. And then, like, simple stuff like this scratcher right here. It's 100 science. It's 5 logs, 5 planks. And it can go almost anywhere and then have a platform put on top of it, which is super helpful because then I can just come in here, spend my 1,000 science points on the labor monument, and then, oh, here you go, here you go. Put this guy facing that way, and then when you go sit here in the rooftop terrace, you got him like just watching over you, judging you for spending time relaxing instead of working. Yes, hello, hello. Yeah, I haven't streamed this specific playthrough. I have not streamed since the beginning of February. Ended up getting sick, and then my computer started dying, and then all sorts of other stuff happened. And you know how it goes. But now we got the new computer. I don't think I am sick anymore. I don't know. Who knows? It has been 84 years. You are correct. It's very simple. Just do everything everywhere all the time. Yep. You cracked the code. We absolutely do not have the resources to build or maintain a number cruncher. I don't hate number crunchers. I just hate people spamming number cruncher like it's the panacea for all problems. I guess that's redundant. An early game when we don't even have resources to have multiple types of food. So, at any rate, we now have... Okay, the well-being was up to 11. Now, there it's back. It's back. I think they're making use of the scratchers, and this is only going to be a +1 by the time everybody has access to it. But it is those little simple things that make it possible. Alright, so we do have to manually open this one because it has super contamination behind it. So I'm going to put this on a single time speed. It is going to flush a little tiny bit of that polluted water through. But, you know, grand scheme of thing, it's not really that big of a deal. Just got to let it clean itself out. And then as soon as that gets down to 0, I'll put this back on auto so it just snaps shut immediately once the next bad tide comes. And then, yeah, like I said, it does come through here, but we do have this one sluice here that will just automatically flush all of that out. Not be an issue at all. and then, you know, eventually it'll make its way where it needs to go. How do you turn on experimental? So in Steam, there is, on the Timberborn page, in your library, there is a little gear icon, or a cog, depending on what you want to call it. You click on that, and then there's going to be settings for which versions of the game you want to play. You have to opt in to the betas. This is what you might call it a beta, it might call it a whatever thing, but in there's an option to select between the current release, which is update 6, and then there's an experimental, which will give you update 7. Yeah, I can't really do much better of an explanation without just physically showing you, but I can't do that in the middle of a live stream, so hopefully that was helpful in some way. How many frog statues do you have? Well, we do have the ability to build one of those. Unfortunately, we do not have the treated planks yet, so it's going to be a while yet. But the mod is active for update 7, and we built a little bit of that in some other locations. Just need to get our resources going and need to get a whole bunch of stuff figured out before that is going to be viable. This floodgate probably needs to be replaced with a sluice so we can you know, open it when it has contamination and close it some other time, but at this point I just have to use this as a drain to try and get the nasty out of here, because it's going to get diluted, but as water gets pumped and as it evaporates, it's going to become more and more potent, and you know, that's not really an ideal situation. Just got to do what you got to do. Yes, we can put this back on triple speed and see what happens here. But this is going to drain maybe some that we would want to use for pumping, but I'd rather have it clean. We do have... Wait, I thought this was automated. Okay, no, it is open. It is open, but it's also flowing out here. That shouldn't be happening. Oh, because I didn't automate any of this. I didn't automate it, so yeah, we have to turn that back on manually. Yeah, I really need to replace all this with sluices. Well, at any rate, we do have to actually manually refill the donut. I know. Sad times. This still says 1% contamination, really? Yeah, manual labor, that's what I'm saying. At least we're not dumping the clean water off the side anymore. I guess I can go ahead and open this as well. We were at some point in the process of, you know, finishing this, increasing the height, making it possible to have the donut be a little bit taller. But unfortunately, does not seem that that's going to be possible this cycle, because we have all this other stuff going on here. Now, does this still say 1%? No, it says 0%, which means a lot of it is gone. And this is going to be, I guess, kind of alternating back between open and closed as this continues to drain. So if I go ahead and I just shut this. Ah, see, this has, or it had, some contamination, so I don't know what's going on under here. Is that the drain one? I actually don't remember. I'm not doing a very good job, huh? Can't remember what I was doing. But our well-being is up to 14, which is not going to give us an immediate, you know, huge boost, but take a look at these stats for those of you who are not familiar. Pretty much all of them were at 10 before, so they had that plus 20% working speed. But at 12, which most of them weren't at, you get a plus 15 to movement speed, which is huge. And then if we get to 17, we go from plus 20 to plus 40% life expectancy. So there is a pretty good incentive early game to get your well-being up. It's not always easy to do so, but you know, it's one of those things that just takes time. Let's go ahead and get this water pumping here. We do have water coming out this side because that is the maximum height that the donut can be, more or less, without flooding through here. I know we talked about increasing the height of these things, but I kind of wanted to avoid it being stupid, if that makes sense. Up to 15? Do you think devs will remove districts now thanks to ziplines and tubes? I don't know. I don't think that would be a... Whoa, hold on. We're flooding here. Of course, this always happens to me. Oh, what am I going to do? What am I going to do with myself? I guess I could just open this up. So that's going to hopefully unflood everything. If you've been following the Ember Pelt series, before I changed to this new computer, I do have to see if this is going to unflood stuff. And then I will answer. Set the to 0.85. Yeah, that should help a little bit. I think in time this is gonna, you know, stop being flooded, but I don't want to get distracted while this is still being a huge problem. I think it's improving. Maybe. Maybe not. Oh, come on, man. Really, really got to get these replaced with sluices. Alright. Let's just open this completely so it can just drain stuff. Come on. Really? Really? Wait, why is this closed? This should never be closed. That should absolutely never be closed. That was the entire problem. Wow. Okay. Well, now I know. That solved that problem. Okay, so to actually answer the question, if you remember the Ember Pelt series, before I changed to the new computer, it was really, really chugging like 30 FPS. And we're not really that far along in that playthrough for that to be happening. The tubes in particular really cause a lot of damage to the FPS. And while it is a lot better with this machine, if you remember... oh, here's Disturb Simulations in the chat. I hadn't even looked at the window. But yeah, a specific point was made that if you have a lot of them all over the map, it really tanks performance. And while it has improved with the new machine, it definitely is still going to be a problem. So I don't think you want to eliminate districts entirely just because it's going to be a huge pain in the butt for people that do not have super powerful machines. And even those who do are still going to run into problems with it. So while I do not like the district mechanic because I find it very frustrating to try and balance stuff, it's not a bad mechanic. It just needs a little bit of refinement. Yeah, pathing is really hard when you're trying to work on a map like this, where things are just really, really complicated. Like all of this verticality we have right here, before we got the ladders in place, it was really, really hard for the beavers to get pretty much anywhere or do anything. So it just turns into this thing where you have so much to do that you kind of can't focus on pathing efficiency, or you're going to kill all your beavers and nobody's going to have a good time. Do we have a... I don't even remember what that thing's called. We do have one tooth grindstone. Okay, because I did see somebody with broken teeth. The tubes cannot cross district borders and still connect to paths. But you can run a tube through a district without connecting it to the other district, if that makes sense. Just like you can run a path through a district, as long as it doesn't touch another district's paths, you're not going to have any problems. Do you need a central station where they need to change tubes? Well, you'd have to, unless there's something that's changed. And I haven't played with the tubes enough to really know. I'm pretty sure you have to just have them exit the tubes and then go through a district crossing and then get into a different set of tubes to utilize the network in a different district. But I digress. We got 1.5 days before we have another bad tide coming in, and I think I'd like to try something. I want to see if we can put in a couple of levees here and here. I don't know if they can even access this other one. They probably can't. But if we can put those in there, then if I am correct, without putting any other pieces of land or whatever in, we can raise the height of our donut water by 1. Oh, also, I guess we have to have one here as well, but that's pretty easy to do. So I think I'd like to try that. I don't know if... Oh, okay, 1.5 days is basically just 1 day at this point. But I'm very, very interested. Very interested to see if they can pull this off. So we can get that built, and then over here, I guess technically, we would have to close this floodgate, but the height should still be correct. Yeah, this is exactly the right height to get one more block here. So let's see what they do. Elevation changes for tubes has confused you. So I know in the vanilla game, which what we're playing now, the solid tubeways are the only ones that can go vertical, and the regular tubeways can go pretty much everywhere. But if you want to have it go vertical or you want to put stuff on top of it, it has to be a solid tubeway. The Ember Pelts mod just kind of combines these into one, but it uses the model for the regular tubeway, but it has the properties of the solid tubeway. So that's how, if you saw the video that we put out yesterday, that's how we were able to put it underground without having to have a second type of tubeway. It's just one of those convenience things that Bobbing About did for that. Alright, so we close that completely. So now there is no outflow for the donut. So the water is going to continue to rise based on what's coming in here. And I do think I have to have this closed or else it's not going to let any water flow in. But we should see this continuing to go up ever so slowly. Remember, we do have a full block and a third of additional height we can get out of this. I don't know that we're going to be able to make that happen, unfortunately. But we did make some sort of improvement here by just shutting this and making sure that this can't flood. But now I have to be vigilant about this getting flooded with bad water again. Alright, so bad tide has begun. Let's just hit pause because I have absolutely no trust in the system here. This is set to automate close above contamination, so that's going to be fine. I don't have to worry about that. And there is a little bit of water that will still flow through here to make that okay. This we have no control over. This has already shut because it's at 49% contamination. And then I am going to go ahead and shut these floodgates. And then I think because this is already shut, that should solve most of our issues here. I think we're good. I think we're good. I just always have to do this because, you know, that's just the way it goes. So the reason that this had to close also is because we have the nasty water that gets brought out of this thing pretty much only during a bad tide and mixing with all this. Even though there are these negative water sources here, for whatever reason, it always does this. Not really sure why. But, hey, look at this. This was actually worth doing. Because now we have technically covered up part of this levee. And we've got, for the next 17.5 days, plenty of water to pump. And we're actually pretty much full on the storage that we put in as well, so that's pretty cool. You just go ahead and leave this open. We do really need to increase the height here, because that's going to allow us to bring this up even more. Although to get the rest of this in place, we are going to have quite a bit more height. But we're at the point now where we can really kind of sink our teeth in and make some big improvements without having to take so much time to think about stuff. Hello, hello, all new people in chat. Is the drain floodgate still open? No, it should be closed, and it is. So right now we're just pumping out of this. New PC specs. Oh, I didn't put those in the description. I do have a thing with Amazon affiliate links in there, but it is a Ryzen 7 9800 X3D. I had to think for a second. Which is, I guess, at this point, like the default gaming processor that everybody's buying. It's been kind of hard to find those. But currently it's running at, I think, like 5.2 gigahertz or something, just on like the standard boost that it comes with without doing any overclocking, which I think is insane. Because my old one on that same standard boost would run at 4.2. So tremendous improvement in performance. It has larger L3 cache as well. And I've been very happy with it so far. No real decrease in the time or efficiency or performance or anything in terms of exporting videos, which is one of my main concerns. So money well spent, and I don't have to go buy a 9950 X3D, which would have been like $800 or something, so that was good. X870 motherboard from MSI. I've got 64 gigabytes of RAM at 6000 megahertz speed, because that's what the Zen 5 Ryzen chip's like. I've got a 4070 Super video card because it's impossible to find anything else, and I kind of panic bought that in December. It's like, okay, we're gonna get a new generation of graphics cards and all this other garbage going on. I'm just gonna buy something so I have it in case I can't get something else later, and I'm glad I did, because the 50 series cards not only are impossible to find, they're incredibly overpriced, and they're not even that much better than the 40 series cards. So that ended up being a good choice. I've got not all of the SSDs in this computer yet that I had in the other computer. I had like, I don't even know, like 12 terabytes of SSDs in there. And then I've got, in this one, I have a 2 terabyte boot drive, a 990 Pro, and then I brought over my previous expansion drive, which was a 980 Pro, 2 terabytes. So now I've got 4, 6, 7... I've got another 7.5 terabytes of SSDs in the old computer that have to come over, and then I have a couple spinny drives from like 2012 that I probably should just retire and pull everything off of. But yeah, Western Digital Caviar Black hard drives from when I was in college. And then I've got a 5 terabyte external that I've been using for backups, and now I've got an archive drive that I'm putting all my old videos on. So I guess, wow, technically I might have I could have like 25, 30 terabytes of storage somewhere. Yeah. Honey is terrible. Honey is awful. Uninstall it immediately. if you have it. Affiliate link stealers, but there's way too many people have made videos about this for this not to be common knowledge at this point. Computer can manage 4K playback. I mean, it probably can, but also 4K monitors are really expensive, and I'm trying not to just spend ridiculous amounts of money without getting that much benefit from them. The videos now are 1440p. I failed to update the settings for the stream, so unfortunately the stream is at 1080. But I've been playing 1440 basically forever since I bought this monitor in 2021, I think. I've been pretty happy with it, but I was downscaling the videos for a long time to 1080p because I didn't think my computer could handle playing and recording in 1440, but this new one does it just fine. Yeah, the problem with the AMD graphics cards is they don't have the CUDA cores that the NVIDIA ones do, and it is just a huge performance difference in terms of video editing and rendering. And I didn't see any reason to abandon the NVIDIA ecosystem. As dumb as they have been, it is still the superior product. You're able to use 1440 on the stream. Okay, because the YouTube Studio page right now, I'm sorry people who want to see gameplay, we'll get back to that in a second. The Studio page is telling me you need to change the video resolution. The current resolution 2560 by 1440 is not supported for this configuration. Like, well, if you can watch it in 1440, then I don't care. That's fine. Something's just messed up. Ever thought of putting together a NAS for the footage? So that just seems incredibly complicated and expensive for basically no benefit for me, because I don't have other devices that need to access it, and I don't need to access it from outside my house. So I know the standard wisdom on backups is, if you have no backups, you have no backups. If you have one backup, you have no backups. If you have two backups, then you have one backup. or whatever it is. But, oh, we got mic audio problems again. That's super annoying. I don't know what it is about YouTube streaming that cuts audio levels so much. But these are the same settings I had used forever. And I guess maybe because it's a new system, it's a problem. So that's something I'm going to have to take care of before the next stream, try to figure something out. But yeah, I'd like putting a NAS together with FreeNAS or whatever the thing is that doesn't cost like $500 for the operating system just does not seem like something that would be of any benefit to me, when the only reason I keep my old videos is because I can't find any reason not to keep them. Like, realistically, if all of my videos disappeared off the internet tomorrow, then yeah, it would be kind of sad, but like there's not really that big of a loss versus somebody who's like doing, say, wedding videos or some sort of like professional work for companies that cannot afford to lose anything. And then that kind of makes sense. And like, of course, if I did do it, it would be tax deductible because I'm doing this as a business venture, or it is a business venture. I'm not doing this for a business venture. I'm doing this because I enjoy it, and it happens to also be my primary income. But I just, honestly, I don't want to be bothered with it. Yeah. Adobe is also a really terrible company, but there's not really a viable alternative if you are a working professional who has to collaborate with people, which is unfortunate. But it is what it is. We were all participants in the tech ecosphere anyway. We got 11 days left in our bad tide here. We've got full water storage again, which means we do need to continue building plenty of capacity here. So I'm going to go ahead and just, while we're sitting here talking about stuff, just go ahead and put in another large tank so we can continue pumping. And I think we can send some beavers up here to continue building, although we have to be careful not to send them into bad water. Oh, I'm really curious as to why this stopped. Because there's no like visual artifacting at all. So I wonder if that's just because this water source lines up perfectly with whatever would be falling and the amount coming out isn't enough. I don't know. It's kind of weird, honestly. This suspension bridge, once they're able to reach it, that is going to be able to build these things. Where are you going? You going to get logs? Is that what you're doing? Okay, well I guess that was always allowed. Now that this isn't actually dangerous. But at any rate, we need... There's so much stuff. There's so much stuff that is going on with this. We need to be able to actually build this stuff. Now that I have ladders in place, I should be able to do this bit. I'm going to go up, I guess 2. Not really any reason not to. But, you know, this stuff just takes time to build. It is a very, very slow process. And I probably should have gotten on this a lot sooner, but you know how it goes. We can go ahead. I think the levels aren't quite low enough for me to remove these floodgates, but those do need to be replaced. You think every video I make is historic and life-changing? Well, I appreciate it. It took me almost a month to put this computer together and do the video for the boosters and then actually get stuff migrated. Now, that's not a month solid of working on it, but just the amount of time that I had to just take away from other stuff to figure out what the heck I was doing with this. I never built something with an AIO, and I never had to build a new computer that also needed to use the components of the computer I was currently using. So that complicated a lot of stuff. And there's still pieces that I need for this computer that are in the old one, and I've got files I have to move over. But it was just such a huge, like, complicated thing that it kind of just turned me off of the whole thing for a long time because I was just frustrated. And then that's when I had to take, like, the 3 straight days of not doing any videos so I could just suck it up and get stuff done. Because contrary to popular belief, there are other things in my life that I do have to take care of besides making YouTube videos. And when you have challenges that come up in that regard and you have to, you know, be an adult and do stuff that isn't YouTube, then that really, really slows things down. The source on the tower is a bad water source. I'd put levees around. Well, no, it's actually not a bad water source. But, it is, I don't really know how to describe it, but, like, the way this is set up, it's designed so that the bad water basically almost always goes away if there's no other water here. But if there is water here, then it kind of mixes with stuff. So, I do like that idea of just completely surrounding these, and I think we can do that since we have you know, the ability to walk around and take care of stuff. So I will send these beavers in there to do all of that. This is taken care of here. That can go away. I do have to have a little bit more going on over here. And then I said I was going to have to get these guys up on top of stuff to do this. So that's going to take care of that there. And then we have to get this whole thing kind of closed in. And that's a process. That's going to be annoying to deal with, but so long as we can get it done without any sort of suffering, then I think we're going to be okay. This does have to go up more than one block from here. One piece at a time. One piece at a time. I think I've got access to get up here. Should be somewhat accessible. I think that should work. Now, I know I can't access all this right now, but alright. Nope, that's facing the wrong way. Hold on, gotta rotate. Put those in, and then I can just go ahead and put all of these in at once, because that is how that's going to go. The video is great. In case you haven't felt it, we appreciate all the effort you put into making a video for us. Well, I'm glad you appreciate it. I was so frustrated with that video. Because, you know, you record it while you're putting the computer together, which is already really, really annoying. And I'm sitting here like, why am I doing this, man? Because I'd go put something in, and then I'd go look at the footage, and, like, the camera wasn't even looking at that at all. I'm like, come on. And then I wanted to record it in 4K, but I didn't have the camera set to 4K, and I had it set to 1080. Like, oh man, that's a missed opportunity, but whatever. And then I couldn't figure out how parts went in, that I looked like an idiot. And like, alright, well, I can't really get rid of that now, can I? Because that's kind of a meme at this point. It is what it is, but I'm glad you enjoyed it. Oxygen not included will return. I can't tell you exactly when, because we still have to get out of the mire of beaver content that I have saddled myself with over the past several months. But I need to finish, before I try to do any other games, I gotta finish these series that we have going on right now. At least 2 of the video series, and ideally this stream series. Because there's just so much going on. And I only have so much time that it becomes basically impossible to try to tack anything else on without it just turning into an incredibly frustrating experience. And that is never something that I want to feel doing this, because as soon as I feel frustrated by doing stuff, I'm done. Like, I don't have the mental capability to just power through all that kind of stuff for something that is supposed to be enjoyable. And it is. I really enjoy doing this, but I'm not going to be the kind of person to just, you know, turn this into something that is more of a transaction than me saying, I would like to play Timberborn today, if that makes sense. Yeah, Apocalypse Mode is getting close to finished. People have asked if I'm going to continue that series for Beard Boosters after, quote-unquote, it's over. And I do think that would be kind of a fun thing. But I just don't know if I would have time to do it. I want to know why they haven't built this stuff yet. Are they actually still building? Okay, they need more height here. I do have to get those in place. Do I have the triple height? No, I do not. I technically do have the science to get the triple floodgate unlocked. I think for where we are now, we probably don't need to put triples in. Because even if these are all the way up, it's basically as high as this could get anyhow. Just trying to think pragmatically here. I don't know, like this is going to... Well, this whole inside thing's going to flood before much else happens anyway. Let's replace this. Did I strand some beavers? No. Let's replace this with one of those guys, and I can take this away, take that away, and then I can pop this in. And yes, I know long-term we do have to increase the height of this entire side, but this is going to allow us to get one more level of height, and then they have to build all this garbage as well. But they have time for that. I guess I should probably tell them to focus on building these things, you know, once they can actually get back over there. Because that's what's going to actually impact all of this stuff. We do have 3 days, though. What's not enjoyable about playing with the beavers? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Well, when you do it, you know, every single day for multiple years, more or less, then it does start to get old unless you try new and interesting things, which is kind of where the idea for the apocalypse mode came from. With apocalypse mode, is there a point at which 100-day droughts are guaranteed? No, because of the way the RNG works. It just kind of decides every single cycle on a duration between... Oh, I don't even remember how I have it set, but I know the maximum is 100, and I think the minimum is 30. So it just, whatever the RNG decides is what you're going to get. I don't know of a way to guarantee that every single cycle is going to be 100 unless you set your minimum and maximum bad tide drought durations to 100 each, and then just had a really long handicap to get up there. Not sure. Yeah, apocalypse mode with water beavers would be essentially impossible. But water beavers also does not work with... Well, it does work with update 6. So, I do still have to do the update 6 water beaver series, unless update 7 water beavers comes out before I get to it. Which I don't think that's happening anytime soon. But you never know. These guys still have not... Oh, I forgot. You got to do this with the paths now in update 7. That's unfortunate. Well, they did get this put in, which is nice. There's still a little bit to do here, but that's okay. This piece needs to get finished. These I do have marked for them to work on, but I guess they didn't want to. Do that. Okay, these trees need to be replanted, so I can get that guy in here. We've got a lot of trees that we cut down. I guess I can just get these guys cutting. I got so distracted. That always happens. Always happens. But I do want to get the rest of this taken care of before we move on too much. Water beavers as a live stream would either be incredibly great or the worst idea I've ever had. I do not know either way. But I'm very curious to see how this computer would handle water beavers. I cannot get the old file to load. I don't know what happened, but it just crashes every time. So if I really wanted to spend a whole bunch of time messing with it, I guess I probably could get it to work, but I don't know, man. All right. See, these are just... It takes so long for them to build stuff that it just turns into this really slow process. Kind of frustrating. But it is what it is. You know, definitely could be a whole lot worse. Water Beavers is a mod, technically, would be the third faction As far as I know, it was the first faction mod that came out. Originally during update 4, I think? Maybe update... No, it would have been update 4. I did a series about that in... Oh, was that 2023? Like toward the end of 2023 in update 4. And then I did another one in update 5 when that update got updated. And then Ember Pelts came out last summer-ish, I think. So Ember Pelts I would consider to be the 4th faction. There might be other ones, and I know there's at least 1 or 2 others that are in some sort of state of development. Yeah, mixing factions with the beavers has always been an interesting idea, and I know there's a mod called, I think it's Greedy Builders, that allows you to mix the buildings. But it would be really interesting to play a Timberborn playthrough with both factions at the same time, or if that was a way to do multiplayer or something, where you had, like, say, the Iron Teeth focused on production, the Folktales focused on farming, or something like that. Would be neat. Don't forget to open your gates. Well, these are open. I just left them open, and that seems to be working. This does need to be flushed, which it just did. There's all that nasty water. That is opening. I'm going to open that floodgate so all the nasty water can get shoved out. We do need to come up with a better way to handle this, but for right now it seems to be fine. So this is now completely separated out here. I know we could probably put another level on it, but for right now I am more interested in getting this whole thing situated. I think if I chose to get the triple floodgates put in, I think I could build those before we had a bad tide or something come in here for capacity's sake. But at this point, there's so much water coming in here that I am going to have to shut these, and this is just going to have to be the maximum height here while we continue working on other stuff. The brain beavers, I don't know, I could say they're performing well, but I'm here. We're working on it. Well, the whole danger thing with Timberborn kind of didn't exist past, you know, solving for droughts until bad water came in. And, you know, most players aren't going to, without looking it up, aren't going to figure out how to do something like this. So I'm not going to sit here and say that it's perfect, but I do think it's a lot better than it used to be in terms of putting in challenge conditions at the very least. Timberborn multiplayer would end up with trying to poison each other's water supply with bad water. I mean, I guess that depends on what kind of people you're playing the game with, but that's not something I would put in one of my playthroughs if I were doing a multiplayer with somebody. Yeah, that just reminds me of OpenRCT2 multiplayer, where people just, or Minecraft or something, where people just grief for the heck of it. Now, how much higher can I get this? I know I have this set here. I know I can put in one more. Nope, let's face the wrong way. Rotate. I'll just go ahead and put that in. Because by the time it gets high enough for that to be an issue, it's just going to flow over the top of the dam here before we change it out. The post 10 Duke. Yeah, a guy with a rake and hip waders. That's going to shut those beavers up real quick. Multiplayer Timberborn server with Timberborn YouTubers is probably one of the things that would usher in the apocalypse at this point. Would be incredibly hilarious. No, I'm not on top chat. Kurt wants us to name the tree. This tree. I have no idea what to name the tree. I probably don't need to have logs up here. I probably should get rid of this. But for right now, I guess we can just leave it in place. You named the tree Gary. What a random name. Failure management, huh? Well. Looks like a Steve. You have any idea how many Steves we have? we got like 4 or 5 people on the Beard Booster list named Steve. Timberborn is not the Canadian version of Planet of the Apes because Timberborn is a Polish game. Mechanistry is based out of Poland. They're the people who developed the game. Unless you're talking about just, you know, like beavers in general. But beavers do exist all across the world. It's just Canada and parts of the U.S. have comparatively much larger populations of beavers. Do you have to pay me every time you use your name on a form? Yeah, you never have to pay me at any time. But, alright, so actual tree name suggestions, since I guess this is what we're doing now. I have seen Gary. I've seen Failure. I've seen The One. And I've seen Steve. Are there any other suggestions? I think I can only choose 4 for the poll anyway. Dave. I love just assigning, you know, like, actual names to inanimate objects. Or, like, people who name their cats, like, human names. Instead of just, you know, like, Cupcake or something. Beaver population in North America is larger than Europe because of the overhunting of the European beaver for fur. Now, that's something I didn't know. I'm not going to say that's a fun fact, but that is an interesting fact. Gary Oak in all caps. Yeah, you know, you think about it. It's like, as the protagonist, Satoshi or Ash or whatever, Red, Blue, whatever you want to name the guy. You live in a town, talking about the original Pokemon Red and Blue for the Game Boy. You live in a town where there's like 3 houses. You live with your single mom, or I don't know if it's ever like specified specifically that your dad's not in the picture or whatever. And then you got this professor, this like world-renowned Pokemon researcher, just hanging out with your mom all the time. Like, yeah, I think I know why. I think I know why Professor Oak wanted to send you off on the lifetime journey of hunting all the Pokemon. He's like, yeah, okay, I see what's up. Is it a town if it only has 3 houses? I don't know, man. Yeah, exactly. What's smaller than a village? I don't know, a hamlet or something? Man, Exhibit, that's a name I haven't heard. What are we naming the tree? This is what happens. This is what happens when we do this. I have to make sure this isn't going to flood. I don't think it can because this is sufficiently tall enough now. Jeff. No, that's the name of the Dankpod's Ford Falcon. Smelly Jeff. It's why you're a mod. Oh no, Devilish can't do polls. So, all right, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna lose game audio for a second because I do have to start the poll here. All right, we're gonna name the tree. All right, we got Gary, we got Steve, we've got must contain between 1 and 35 characters. Yeah, okay. I do not know any Polish names. Trunky. Gary Oak, all caps. Well, is it an oak tree? It is. All right. Well, I guess I'm editing that. Let's see. I guess we'll go with the we'll go with the original. Why is this all caps? All right, whatever. I don't care. The original 4 suggestions. I guess I do have to fix this. But Gary Oak will be in all caps in the poll. Don't sue me, Nintendo. All right. Vote now. To name the tree. Take a sip of my beverage. Actually, that's a lie. I do know Polish names. A couple of them. I have a friend from college whose family's Polish. Well, it seems Gary Oak is running away with the lead currently, but I'll let you guys have some time to vote before we make that official. I am neither yours nor anyone's dad, but welcome. Good to have you. Are you the one that was commenting daddy on all the videos for like a week? Because somebody was doing that, and I don't remember what the name was. Alright, so we have a 17-day drought. Oh, you know what I did? Is I never actually closed this. And there's pollution here. Why? Like, this wasn't a bad water source. Or maybe it's just that it never suctioned all the nasty out. So in a drought, the negative water sources also don't work. So I guess I can just kind of leave this like it is. It is going to be a little bit nastified. But the good news is we have a lot more water stored in here, and we can continue the process of building additional water storage, which we will definitely be doing. I think at this point we are safe enough on water to go ahead and try to diversify our crops a little bit more. Is the tree dead? Yes. It is in fact dead. I understand. All right. Let me check the poll here. All right, so 46 of you voted. It's about half of you voted, and Gary Oak has 57%. 57% of the vote. We're gonna go ahead and call it. So henceforth, this tree shall be known as Gary Oak. Thank you to those of you who participated. The gate is not open. Okay, well this gate is open, but there's not really that much water to lose. That being said, it is time for us to go ahead and increase the height here now that we have access to it. You know the drill. Is to bring this whole thing right the way along here. I don't know that I can really get at much else without it being an enormous pain in the butt. Hopefully there's no silly billies created as a result of this. But I think they can manage to get this accomplished without too much suffering. That was not supposed to go there. Let's give him a nice project to keep him occupied, you know, as one does. We are going to have to remove this at some point and then get that put in place. But that gives them plenty of stuff to do. And then once the water level goes low enough, I can remove the double floodgates and then put in the triple here. Or, I guess what would make more sense is just to put in sluices and then levees on top. Because right now, pretty much the entire thing is just filling up from here. And we don't even need to really have this be an inlet, honestly. Because I could just put in, some sluices here. It'd be easy. You should do the most useless tunnel to bridge the gap of the dome. What do you mean the most useless tunnel? So, the only way that that particular water source glitch will happen is if we exceed the waterfall limit with the power of the source blocks by editing. What mistakes are we apologizing for? Do I want to know? Maybe I don't want to know. Maybe I don't want to know. But we can put some more effort into fixing our food situation for sure. We've got kohlrabies that nobody really cares about. We've got plenty of corn, but we don't really have anything else. And I have this set to do cassavas. We are growing them, but, you know, we're not actually growing that many. So let's go ahead and plant some more. I did at one point, I thought, have canola, but maybe I'm just misremembering. Cassavas will definitely help. We do have capacity to do a little bit more of those guys. And I've got space up here. This won't always be here because we do have the poison to contend with. But we can also, at some point, put in irrigation barriers once we have access to the treated planks, which is not happening right now. Canola, I think, probably should be planted in areas that are not going to get turned into poison. So, I don't have dynamite yet, but if we're not using it right now, we can just get away with only having a little bit planted here and just storing it, which would not be a very difficult thing. This is basically going to be unusable after a certain point, so I guess I could go ahead and put in some more storage. Corn rations need to be done some other kind of way. Corn, kohlrabies, berries. Berries really don't need to be stored here. In fact, we really don't need that many berries to be stored, period. So I kind of want to move the berries over to here and just reclaim that other space for additional types of foods. We also have the large ones we can build, theoretically, if we felt so inclined. So I don't really know any other way to go about doing that that wouldn't be stupid. I mean, I guess I can justify it, but how am I supposed to? Maybe this is fine. Maybe it's fine. It's going to be ugly, but we don't care. We've done plenty of ugly stuff here. This should be corn rations, just because it's going to be a large warehouse for that. We can keep our crops cycling, and then this can be used for actual corn. And then berries, of course, can get moved somewhere else. Or we could just decide that we're going to, you know, pop in some larger storages and say goodbye to these things, which I guess we could and probably should do. Magic the Gathering is coming out with so many different cards. I never played the game, but they're coming out with cards for everything. And I guess some of the more traditional players are very upset about it. But honestly, I have to respect the hustle and like the absolutely shameless cash grab. I guess that's like the staying power of the Avatar franchise has been really impressive, honestly. Like, that show aired 20 years ago. I guess the people that grew up with the show now have disposable income or children who are also going to watch it or whatever. And I know they got new stuff coming out for that at some point soon. I really liked it. Wait, what? Yeah, the Miku cards. That was one of the things that came up. And like, why are they making Hatsune Miku magic cards? Like, I don't know, man. It's a card game. People want to have cards. Anyway, they haven't done anything with this. I guess they're busy. Oh, they're trying to build all this stuff. See, this is what I'm talking about when I'm saying that it's really hard to get stuff done because the terrain is so, I'm not going to say inhospitable, but it's definitely, definitely challenging. Now, how am I going to get, how am I going to get these guys in here? I guess I need to have double platforms anyway. Just go ahead and get that set up. Like, I really should probably just take all of this out and replace it with ladders. But you would. Remember, they are 14. Think carefully. Make good choices. I think that they can reach all of this. Can they never reach? No, they can reach that. Yeah, I think now that this is more or less about as good as it's going to get, we can probably afford to just say goodbye to this mess here and put in a couple of... Do we even want to put sluices in here? I'm trying to keep most of the water up here so it can go in through this way. But maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe it doesn't matter. Well, I'll tell you what we can definitely do now that this is low enough. I can take that double floodgate out and I can just put in a couple of sluices. I should have done that a long time ago. Now that we know we're not going to have any poison water come through here, then it should be pretty simple. Younger than that when I saw it. Fair enough. Why are you using levees instead of platforms in front of the warehouse? Are you talking about this? Because that's our water reservoir there for the irrigation. It has to be a levee. Hello, Jacob. Have the sluices come further back so you can hold more water. I mean, I guess we could. It's not going to hold that much. But I got to remember what's underneath this. Oh, there's scrap metal. Okay. Not that we're ever really going to use that, but... We do have an opportunity here to get a little bit more water storage just by moving this back. Have approximate knowledge of most things. Me too. Well, I wouldn't say most things. I know enough to get myself into trouble with a whole lot of stuff. Core Pendragon, thanks very much for the $1. Appreciate you. Even if you do call me Daddy. I know it's not supposed to be weird. Or hope it's not supposed to be weird, but do a nickname poll. Uh-oh. That's gonna open up a can of worms. Alright, let's get these logs picked up and then I will move. I guess I could probably just move it all the way back through here. Would be the easiest thing to do. And I'll just make these sluices here. Well, I can promise you that's not a thing that's happened. With 100% certainty. Alright, let's get that put in place there. This basically should probably always be open because they can't backflow and there is zero chance it's ever going to get polluted. So, well, in theory there is zero chance it will ever be polluted, so that's fine. We're almost down low enough. Oh, never mind. I lied. We have one more block. I thought we were almost low enough to remove these, but that's not the case. Alright, I do have a full storage here, so let's go ahead and just put another one in. No, I got the wrong thing out. I have the materials to build this very easily, so you know the drill. I will not be calling you the beard babies. I'm not even running a poll for that. That is, I promise you, is not happening. Is my internet not working? Or is that a joke? I can't tell. Gotta go. Hey, go enjoy your Costco trip. Get yourself a $1.50 hot dog and soda. I love Costco. Yeah, have fun. Good to see you. The beardling brush. Stubblings. Well, Stubble Club is specifically people who are in the boosters but have not passed a month yet. That's about how long it takes for stubble to turn into an actual beard. Ugly square path by the new large tank. You are correct. It is, in fact, very ugly. And now it has been fixed. Oh, okay. I got you. Now, normally, I don't adopt or endorse a lot of Southernisms, but I will never call it pop. I can promise you that. We can't do the frog statues yet, because we don't have wood workshops. Costco in the U.S. currently has Pepsi products. So, no. I am an Atlantan, but I do not call every soda a Coke. That is just insane. Exactly. Only Coke is Coke. All others are soda. It drives me insane. Like, you go into, like, a small town place, and, like, the server asks you, is like, oh, would you like a Coke? And you say yes, and they ask, what kind? It's like, I just told you. No, I know pop is a northern thing. That's what I was saying. Is I normally don't adopt Southernisms, but one of the ones that I do adopt is that I refuse to call it pop, in favor of calling it soda. But I'm also not going to call it Coke, unless it is Coke. Fountain drink. There you go. Trash water. Well. A lot of people in the deep south just drink sweet tea at every meal, which is probably worse. Nothing matters. It's fine. Okay, I'm not going to endorse that kind of Coke either. Dr. Pepper is very good. I really like Dr. Pepper. Although it is kind of funny that they had an ad campaign early on that basically touted it as being medicine, which is objectively not true. What do you call the cart you put in your groceries in at the store? A shopping cart. I refuse to call it a buggy. Absolutely refuse. Yeah, if I want cane sugar soda, I have to get Mexican Coke at the supermarket. Okay, well, trolleys, that's a European thing. That's a European term. That's fine. But it is not a buggy. I'm never going to call it a buggy. I don't think we can have sodas imported from the EU. But I do know that in Europe, the Fanta, the soda, the orange soda, actually has orange in it. Whereas in the US, it's just sugars and stuff. Yeah, Mexican Coke is good. With actual cane sugar. And there's a couple other varieties. I think there's Sprite and there's Fanta Orange that Coca-Cola bottles in Mexico that uses cane sugar. I'm not calling it a buggy. I'm not doing it. No, original Coke had cocaine in it. No, that's probably going to demonetize this whole VOD, but I don't care. Whatever. I've never had that. I've never had that Coke. Ah, now I remember why this didn't have anything planted in it. Oh boy, well there's your problem. Alright, we have enough water now where I can feel like it's good to put in the fluid dump and just irrigate this whole thing again. Because now our cassavas are dying. That wasn't on my bingo card. Yeah, you might want to add that to the list of things that can go on the bingo card. Let's see. Well, while we're talking about soda stuff, there's I forgot what I was going to say, but something I was going to bring up. Let's see. Oh wait, no, this has to. No, this shouldn't be. Oh no, that's why I didn't do this. That's why I didn't do this, because I had to have this sluice here to. I think I had this figured out before. Like I had a dam in here, but I don't know, man. Okay, yeah, the Beverly is awful. And I guess confession time, I have not been to the world of Coke since before it moved. So it used to be, there's a part of Atlanta called Underground that is kind of like a really, well, at this point it's like basically dead, but it was like an underground shopping mall that used to be like railroad right-of-way before they ripped out all the tracks. And that's where the world of Coke used to be. And I went in there and I had the Beverly, like, wow, this is absolutely terrible. But now they have, I don't know, maybe 20 years ago when they built the aquarium, they started putting another Coke museum up over in the Centennial Olympic Park area. I've never been in that one. The aquarium's cool, though. They let you in for free on your birthday if you're a Georgia resident, so I've done that a couple times. That's nice. Sluice should have stayed as a dam. All right, well, you know what? We have the power. We can go ahead and just pop that back in place, and should not be an issue. Irrigation solution looks funny. Yeah, it's something all right. Well, now the problem is solved, and we can grow our cassavas again, and get a little bit of irrigation. That might even help during the bad tide bits. Hopefully. Or is this low enough for me to delete this yet? Almost. I know, just in time for the drought to be over. Right? What a concept. So I think what's going to happen is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say sluices go at the bottom here anyway, just because that's going to be easier. But they basically only ever have to keep water from coming out this way, but we want some to come back in. That should be fine. I'll get them to start building this, but since we're about to get refilled anyway, I don't think it matters. And I had thought about putting a dam in here, but I probably don't need to worry about that. Let's go ahead and get those things out of here. Yes, hello, Gary. And also, Gary in chat. Who may or may not be the same as the tree. Forever in our hearts. Ember Pelt mod with the housing so you can make a high-rise. Does it work for other factions? I actually don't know. I think it probably only works with the Ember Pelts because the Ember Pelt lodges have been coded specifically to allow that to happen with the whole sharing doorways thing. I do know that there is a separate housing optimizer mod. I don't think that works outside of Ember Pelts. I could be wrong. But I do have both of those installed when we're on the Ember Pelts playthroughs. Oh boy. If we want to go down the rabbit hole of Atlanta infrastructure, highways, interchanges, rail and redlining and stuff, then I don't think that's something you want to set me off on during a live stream, or else it could turn bad. But yes, Atlanta is the only city I can think of that got burned down and they built it back worse. Like, they had a chance to completely start over, and they they didn't take it. Have the Ember Pelts been updated to have faster... Yeah, Ember Pelts work in Update 7, and they actually have a couple of custom mods to help with that. One of those is the tiny tubeway station, and then there's a couple other improvements to the tubeways. But yeah, I've been playing Ember Pelts on Update 7 for a while now. What are my feelings on I-85? It is one of the interstates of all time. Well, through downtown Atlanta, I-85 and I-75 combined into what they call the downtown connector, and that is an absolute disaster of traffic at all times. And I must have driven it 10,000 times. But, I don't know. The freeways in Atlanta aren't bad. They're just poorly maintained, and there's always traffic. Yeah, urban highways are a very American thing for various reasons. Heavily politically motivated in the middle of the 20th century. But that gets into discussion topics that aren't really fun. All that being said, I do like the city of Atlanta. I lived in the city proper for a number of years. I have a lot of good memories. But it definitely needs some help. Make things a lot better. They have, they used to have, until they demolished it in the 70s, a train station that saw like hundreds of trains a day. And now there is, in terms of intercity rail, not inner city rail, I guess I should enunciate better. There is one train that comes twice a day. One going northbound, one going southbound. The northbound comes at 11 p.m. and the northbound comes at 8 in the morning. So unless you have a very specific set of circumstances in which you would like to be in New Orleans for dinner and you want to leave at 8:30 in the morning, or you want to be in Washington, D.C. by 2 p.m. the next day and you want to leave at 11 p.m. the night before, then it's not really got a whole lot of use. I've taken that train a couple times. It's nice, but would really like to be able to have the option to take trains other places and not have to worry about nonsense. But that's a different topic for a different channel and a very, very, very different time. Favorite series to record? That's a difficult question because I've liked most of them. There's a couple that I really did not enjoy. But I think probably, if we're talking actual videos, the most fun that I have had with a series in terms of exploring like new stuff and actually enjoying doing it is probably the current Folktales series with the Update 7 stuff. Irrigation affects the ruins. Yes, it does. It gets them all, I guess you could call this ivy or something. Plants, stuff growing on them. Yeah, look at this. We have all this water coming in here. And this is going to actually flood here in a little bit if we don't take some action. So I probably should attempt to solve some of these problems before it floods our whole thing here. What can I get to? I guess, I mean, we're going to need to use all this stuff anyway, so if I make that, no, they're never gonna prioritize that correctly. This is what I was talking about earlier, about things just being incredibly complicated to try and build. That'll take care of most of that. We can go ahead and get rid of this. But I can't get rid of the bridge until everything else is fixed. But I can definitely take care of this. By that I mean that can go away there. I don't think this is going to flood. It might, but we can always just open this. Oh boy, here we go. What was the least favorite? Oh, people are going to be mad. People are going to be mad. Probably apocalypse mode. Not going to lie. It was really stressful. And I say this in the context of, you know, playing the game. It's not like the most stressful thing I've ever done in my life. That would be a terrible answer. But it is among the series that I've recorded, it's probably my least favorite just because of how frustrating it was in the beginning. And then all this other stuff about trying to figure out how the best possible way to make stuff happen was. And then people were getting kind of in their feelings about stuff. And I was just like, you know what? I don't want to do this anymore. So I took a week off and came back and it was fine. But anyway, Jacob, thank you very much for the 10 gifted memberships. We've got a Cunningham, Interstate, Nachtmeister 666, Agresis Goldtooth OnlyFans. Maybe don't follow that link. William, or do, I'm not your dad. William Lima de Oliveira, Shaggy McEwen, Stewifly, Evan Dirtworks, Thomas Sember, and Halil Ibrahim. I'm not sure what the characters in that third one are. I apologize. But I think that's all 10 of you. Thank you very much for supporting the channel. Oh, I see we've entered the train discourse part of the evening here. Timberborn have a chat integration mod. Not that I know of. Do you have an emergency release for the donut? Yes. This sluice I can open if I feel like it's necessary, but I don't think we're going to run into that issue because The source water coming in is not any higher than this, and it's all going out this way. If I were to put in dams here, then yes, we would flood stuff, but the way this is currently set up, no. Well, Apocalypse mode is not just longer droughts, it also increases the hunger and the thirst, and I added a penalty for demolishing buildings. Yeah, I think regarding the train issue, especially high-speed rail, I think a lot of people are grossly misinformed about the benefits and the costs of passenger rail infrastructure and applicable uses of such, especially in the United States, because it's not something that the average person who is currently alive and not 70 or 80 years old has ever really had access to, minus people who live directly on the Northeast Corridor in New England. But yeah, there's a whole lot of unfortunately, a whole lot of politics involved that I really wish was not a thing. But overall, I can't see how anyone would think that it is a bad idea. It just, unfortunately, in this country has a bad reputation for a number of reasons, founded or unfounded. Oh, I gotta get this tree out of here so we can get into the rest of this. Gary's sister. No, well, Gary's sister's got to move. We'll always have Gary, though. So here's the thing with Amtrak long distance is it has a mandate from Congress to be as profitable as possible, and that's why they have to price it the way they do. If you book like 2 or 3 months in advance, the prices really are not that bad for the long distance stuff. It ends up being, I mean, it's still more expensive than flying, depending on which routes you take, but if you have any passing interest in just taking scenic routes or train travel in general, then in my opinion it's still worth the money. But obviously, you know, not everyone's going to want to pay $150 to sit in a coach seat for 3 days to go see scenery in the Rocky Mountains and the Great Plains and everything. And that's fine. That's why airplanes exist. But yeah, the U.S. is in a kind of unique situation with regard to transportation infrastructure because the country is so large and there's so much empty space with essentially nothing there. That is where high-speed rail kind of doesn't make sense, because if you have the option to fly, say, between Los Angeles and Atlanta, that's a 5-hour flight, plus time on the ground on either end. Say add an hour for security on either end, and then you have to get to the airport and then all that or whatever. So call it, let's say 8 or 9 hour time investment if you have checked bags to fly coast to coast in the U.S. versus, well, there is no one-seat train ride from Atlanta to L.A. You could technically do it, I think, with 3 different trains. If you take the Crescent to New Orleans and then I think the city of New Orleans to someplace else in Texas or possibly Missouri, and then catch either the California Zephyr or the Southwest Chief from there. But that would cost you a whole lot of money and it would take you about 6 days. If it was high-speed rail, averaging 150 miles per hour, because you know it's not going to be able to go full speed all the time, it would still take you like a day or a day and a half. If you're familiar with the Cannonball Run, which is an automotive thing where people attempt to set speed records going from a specific parking garage in New York City to a specific beach in California, I think the record for the Cannonball Run is, what, 22 or 23 hours? Which in a car is completely insane. Like, that's an average speed of like 130 miles per hour across the entire time. So like they modify the car with this giant fuel cell in the back seat, and they got a couple drivers that rotate in and out, and they got people running radar so they don't get pulled over by the cops or whatever, which I need to emphasize is supremely illegal to be doing what they're doing, but I'm not your dad. But just for reference, that's how much time that takes in a car. So a train that would have an average speed not really that much faster than that isn't really a compelling alternative to flying for that distance. But where high-speed rail really shines, in my opinion, is when you have... See, this is what happens. You guys get me talking about trains, and now we're not playing the game. But I digress. You have city pairs that are about, say, between a 5 and 8 hour drive apart with traffic. If you condense that into a high-speed rail line where the average speed can be 150 miles per hour, then suddenly that becomes really compelling because, one, you don't have to drive in traffic, and instead of spending 8 hours in the car and having to find parking or pay for parking, whatever, you get on the train in the city center, you get off the train in the other city center, and then ideally you have local transit options, or the places you want to go are within walking distance or whatever, and then suddenly it's like a 2.5, 3 hour trip, and that's a lot more doable. That's justifiable. It's just one of those unfortunate things that this country has kind of never really had, so people don't appreciate it, and they don't think it's worth spending money on. Along with all the other stuff that has been attached to rail transit in this country. Yeah, Japan as a country is uniquely positioned to have incredible success with rail because it's basically the size, in terms of geography, it's basically the size of the eastern seaboard of the United States. And the Tokyo metropolitan area, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's like the densest, most populous metropolitan area in the world. And they got trains all over the place. And it just works because, they're accustomed to that. The private car ownership is not really that high outside of rural and suburban areas in Japan. So you have trains that come every minute and a half. Of course you're going to take the train. That's an easy default option. But in the U.S., if you have the vast majority of cities with zero transit options, then of course people aren't going to think it's a real thing that's worth funding because they don't have the benefit of it. My attraction to passenger rail is that I don't like planes or driving for hours at a time, so cross-country on a train would be ideal if I ever needed that kind of trip. Exactly. And I think that option should be available for people. It also has to make sense to run it, but that's a different discussion entirely. I really would like to take as many of those long-distance trains as I can while they still exist, which that's also a different discussion entirely that we maybe don't need to get into. Yeah, the maglev that China's also working on one, but the maglev that Japan is working on is going to be really interesting if they can manage to actually make that technology work across long distances. But the test track they built is cool. Yeah, a nationwide high-speed rail network in the U.S. just does not make sense. To link the entire country all connected to the same track network, no. But different... Like what I was talking about, specifically the Northeast Corridor, Atlanta to Charlotte is another really good option. The Midwest between Chicago, Detroit, Minneapolis, all that would make a tremendous amount of sense. And then other places as well. Like LA to Vegas, no-brainer, should have been built 50 years ago, but you know how that goes. 150 miles an hour is barely high speed. Keep in mind that's average speed, and the trains that I'm talking about would have a top speed of about 200 or 220 miles per hour. But average speed, including station stops and having to interchange different tracks and stuff, especially if they're sharing right-of-way with freight trains, you're not going to get high speed out of that. It has to be purpose-built tracks. Fastest you can go, according to FRA standards. Again, VOD watchers, I'm very sorry, but I'm also not that sorry. You can go 79 miles per hour on most freight tracks in the U.S. that have been properly improved. But to get faster than that, there's different standards that have to be applied. And there are some corridors in the U.S. that are faster than that. Like in the Midwest, they made improvements to, I don't remember exactly what line it is, but there's some Amtrak intercity services, state-supported routes that are running at 110 miles per hour in places like Illinois. And then, of course, the Northeast Corridor does have some parts of it that can go 150 miles per hour, and then soon 160 when the new train sets are actually working. But a lot of the Northeast Corridor is still really, really slow, poorly maintained track that can't be replaced for various reasons. And there's bridges and tunnels and stuff that are really, really, really bad choke points that, again, cannot be improved for various reasons, political or otherwise. But it becomes a question of what makes the most sense to invest time and resources into developing or improving versus what doesn't. And that's where a lot of people disagree, and unfortunately it turns into a political football instead of people, actually trying to do things for the benefit of others, which really bothers me. But yes, the international definition of high-speed rail, as far as I know, is service that exceeds 155 miles per hour at some point, which by that standard, the current Northeast Corridor does not meet high-speed rail because the current Acela train sets only are permitted to go 150. And then the Avelia Liberty sets that were based off of a TGV design that Alstom made in Europe, technically, if they have the tilting technology and all this other stuff and the track is of correct quality, then they can go 186 miles per hour. But the ones that they built for Amtrak don't have that, or they don't have all of the stuff, and the track isn't really the correct quality, correct setup for that. So they will be limited to, I think, 160, maybe 165 on the Northeast Corridor, which does meet the definition of high-speed rail, but really isn't that much of an improvement. Anyway. I thought the run was quicker now. Well, the last time I caught up with the Cannonball stuff was at some point in, I don't know, 2022, 23. I know there were a couple of guys during the pandemic that did a really fast run because nobody was on the road. Oh, and then Devilish, a couple messages later, says that I'm like 7 minutes behind the chat right now. Okay. The Swayze Express. He used illegal parts. Let's see. Train conductor in another life. Man, I wanted to be one so bad. Have to settle for my model trains. Okay, so with very extreme caution to not allow this to turn into a political debate, California high-speed rail has a lot working against it that it doesn't necessarily deserve, and a lot that it also does necessarily deserve to have working against it. It's a complicated issue. They are actually building stuff now, although I wish it was being done a little bit better. Do I have builders huts on this side? I think I ran into this problem before where I didn't have any builders available to actually construct this. Before I remove this bridge to build this up, I do need to make sure. I know I have the district center itself for builders. I've got planks. Okay, I've got planks. I got logs. That's what I was worried about. And I will get back to what I was going to say here in a second, but I do need to make sure I'm actually playing the game. So that's correct height there. This needs to be put across. So that's going to have to be, I think, 3 by 1. I do have the option to put that there with 3 by 1s. There we go. That'll work, and then this can end up being a ladder. All right, I think that's going to be a functional improvement. If you have long distances with no level crossings and not a stop every half hour, yeah, absolutely, and that's what true high-speed rail is supposed to be, and that is part of the reason why. Part of the reason, remember I said there's a whole lot going on here for various reasons, but that's part of the reason why the California project has taken so long, is because they're building a completely new line, completely grade separated, except for the parts in LA that they literally can't. But it's completely grade separated, so they got to build a bunch of viaducts and put tunnels in and reorient roads and purchase land or eminent domain it in some cases, so they can actually have it completely separated so those trains can go 200 miles per hour and not have to worry about stuff. Like, that's a legal mandate for that kind of service. It has to be completely separated, and the track has to be inaccessible to wildlife and to pedestrians and all this other stuff. How are they going to build the foundational levee? That is a very good question that I did not consider. So, yeah, we're gonna have to do a sneaky sneak here and put in a ladder on this side that is going to connect to this bit. Then this is going to have to get reconnected here. I think that will allow them to do that. Yes. That will. Okay. It's just going to take a while. Now, we don't need a temporary district. We'll just get it connected. I'd like to avoid districts as much as I can because that just causes a lot of problems. But once they have these ladders in place, they will be able to take care of that. And hopefully these guys don't starve to death before that happens. I think they're going to be fine. Path on ladder at bridge. What? Oh, right here? Yep, okay. That's taken care of. Beavers teleport. No. But if you have the Unstuckify mod, they will. Give Gary lanterny? What? Oh, like you want me to put lanterns in? I mean, we could, if you really want me to. Do you want Gary lanterns? Give Gary. All right, I'll tell you what. We'll put a lantern here, and we'll put a shrub here. So, there you go. You get your lantern, and you get your shrub. Oh my God, I'm not reading that. Don't tell me that was a typo. I categorically will not believe you. Remember that this is going to be flooded most of the time. So they'll get all this taken care of eventually. All right, we got a nice amount of corn rations. I did say I was going to redo this. Remember, I think I'm just going to go ahead and say I'm going to put a large warehouse here for, I guess I could do... Where am I storing my fermented cassavas? I actually don't know. Well, I might as well, if I'm going to commit to making all of those different things, I will have fermented cassava storage. The berries, I'm just going to dump on the ground because I can. I know that really irritates some of you guys. I'm not making any other types of food, so I probably should have this to be corn storage. But seeing how much corn we have stored and how much corn we're not using, I am going to unplant probably at least this much corn, and then we'll turn that into you know what? I don't need to wait. I'll just destroy it. We'll turn that into growing other stuff. Now that we actually have canola, we need to have storage for that as well. But I don't think I want to have a large warehouse full of that. I can turn this into canola seed storage. And I know that's going to take a long time to empty out, but it'll, you know, eventually. It'll eventually make sense. Medium storage had a side entrance option. That would be nice. I would really like to have access to modular storage in this game. I think that would be nice. Bad water buildings. I mean, we have bad water. We just haven't really been able to do too much with it. We do have the option to put bad water discharges into, like, for this guy specifically, so we can keep pumping. But really, the only processing we need to do is just to put a centrifuge in, and we don't really have the need for extract yet. I don't think. I don't know. I kind of feel like it's not necessary, but we do need to at some point. So if we have, oh yeah, I could just put a large power wheel in there. I put an engine over here. Then that would power one of those guys just fine, but I have to be careful about where I put it. Let's see, if I put a centrifuge right next to this, that's probably going to make the most sense. And you have this go all the way over here. Just to put an engine in. Yeah, we'll just do that. And then I can have another tank for the extract. Make it nice and simple. And then we can at least have that, and then I don't know what I'm going to do with the rest of the power over here, but that'll work for now. Is there even such a thing as African beavers? Like, I know there's European and I know there's North American, but I don't know that they exist on any other continents. Okay, we need to increase the population. That's one of those things I was going to do and then kind of forgot. So let's put in, for now, one more breeding pod. Don't want to grow too quick. Number crunchers require 500 HP, and this is only going to put out 400. I know it can operate at a lower efficiency and be okay, but it's also a lot of science to research that I do not have. Materials-wise, I don't think it would be that big of an issue, but you know how it goes. Well, I can't make advanced pods until I have extract, can I? We'll get there, eventually. Okay, so now I've got to plant... yeah, I need to plant more cassavas. So I'll just do cassava for now. Except this spot here, I guess I could make canola. That does have to have somewhere for it to go. They're going to empty this first. That's fine. Is one of the breeding pods paused? It is! It is. Very good observation. How did we get on Monty Python? Oh, people kept making references. It happens. I'm still trying to get this thing completely surrounded. It looks like, actually, this is just about ready to go. So let's do that. I guess I could put in a ladder on this side and be fine, and a ladder on that side and be fine. And then that's going to be all she wrote for that. That's going to make this entirely immune to any leaks, any water coming in, and we can have this be as tall as it possibly can. So in conjunction with that, I am going to need to put in a pair of levees here, and then I'll just do I guess dams make most sense to put right there, because I want the water to be as tall as possible so that it can fill this to that same height. I think it will do that. Yes, Gary did get a shrub and a lantern. Alright, African beavers confirmed not to exist. Gary has bling. I mean, I guess, if you want you want to call that bling. So, can they actually reach over here again? I think they can. Yeah, they definitely can. Cool. So, now that that's taken care of, we've planted additional stuff. Probably going to need to put in additional fermenters for the cassavas as we grow the population. So I will go ahead and put in another one of those guys here. But we need to have more power. And now that this is no longer a thing that we're worrying about, that forester can absolutely go somewhere else. We actually don't even need to have trees growing over here because we have this, but now I have to turn that back on. We've been juggling so many jobs where the beavers don't have the ability to do all of them at the same time that I think it's caused. I'm not going to say like a considerable amount of problems, but it's definitely made things a little bit worse when they didn't have to be. So I'm going to put another engine in here, which is going to allow us to get more of this stuff taken care of. If we're not going to worry about, you know, bad water, then I can just pave right over the top of this. I do need to get this one tree remnant removed before I do that. So if that goes in, get rid of that, get rid of that. That should take care of most of our problem. And then I'm just going to put levees in to kind of reduce the size of the space here. Replant Gary so he is healthy. Do you think he'd survive? Because like right now this is not irrigated. There's no mechanism for him to be watered here. Oh my god, that is a vintage meme. No, I am not a VTuber consumer, but I have seen so many clips of that specific meme. It is impossible for it to leave my mind. Do not touch Gary. Okay. Gary must be left alone. Sluice rather than a dam for the bad water area. Bad water area meaning like here? Because this currently isn't doing anything. Are you talking about this here? Because this is already a sluice. And so we're not going to have any bad water coming through here. We just have these floodgates. And that is pretty much the only place the water can go is through here. Oh, you're talking about up here. No, the reason why I put these in as dams is because... Wait, hold on. Okay, let me reread what you said. Make sure I didn't just transpose words in my mind. So instead of a sluice, I think we should put in a floodgate on top of this. Or it should have made it double floodgates. Because the goal with this is to keep the water level high enough so that water is forced to go through these sluices and fill up the donut. Which, the water level in the donut can never be higher than the water level back here, because that's how water physics works. Yes, Perry the Platypus. It's astounding, like, how good that show was. I'm gonna put in, just because this is already a thing. I'm gonna have this be floodgates. The area you're filling in the lowlands. Oh, so you're talking about this? But those are already floodgates. They're not dams. I'm sorry. I'm really bad sometimes at interpreting what people are saying in chat. Once we actually have the ability and the science to use these, then we will start doing that. See you, Linux. Good to have you in chat as always. Oh, are you making up lore for Gary now? The Chronicles of Gary state that the only thing that can awaken him from his centennial slumber is a machine that can automatically use its own intelligence to squeeze... What? Oh, okay. It's a number cruncher reference. Alright, I got you. Near the food factory. Okay, okay. So, the reason why I don't think we need to worry about it is because we can't use this for much of anything. Or are you saying just replace it with the sluice period point blank so that we don't have to worry about height filling up? Okay, you know what? It doesn't hurt anything to just do it anyway. So we can do that. I will humor you. Alright. If I were to build a number cruncher here, it would have to have power, which does not currently exist in this area. I am, however, not opposed to putting a number cruncher over here. I just have to be able to reach it, which I kind of built myself into a corner. But then the problem with that becomes, if you hook up more than whatever this can produce, it's just going to evenly inhibit each building that's connected to it. So the centrifuge is actually going to be basically useless, which I would like to avoid. Alright, so this needs to be set to open permanently, and it is. Problem solved. That goes away. This gets replaced with levee. And then we can build on top of this. We cannot build on top of the water source, but we can put a little overhang. And there you go. Now I can just have this go all the way across. Although I can't put another food factory until I have this second engine put in. Gary the goat, the greatest of all trees. You guys are so creative. I'm not sure if that's a compliment or not. Well-being is still 14. We've got 6 kits. We have 200 science, which we need to get more of. I just have these couple inventors that can't run unless we have extra beavers, which we do not have, so we are unfortunately going to have to wait for the beaver numbers to increase. And that's just the way it goes. But we do have canola seeds in here, which means that we can start the process of processing those guys. So what I'm going to need to do is I'm going to, I guess, prepare the 3rd food factory, because we're going to want one for each type of food that can be food factoried, even if we're not going to use it right now. And then I've got 120 for the oil press, which is going to allow me to put in one here, and then I will have a second one here that we can build at some point. I will have to wait for that. But that's going to allow us to start planting and harvesting other types of crops, and that's going to require a medium tank. I guess I'll just put that here to hold the canola oil. And then the fermenter will work on soybeans, so we don't have to worry about anything else there. We just need to plant some. So we take a look at what we have access to currently versus what we've already made. I think the soybeans are really, really temperamental about pollution, so we probably don't want to plant them up here. I think what I will end up doing is taking some of these kohlrabies out here and replace these with soybeans. 1,000 beavers on Diorama Apocalypse win. That is a tall order. But my original goal with the Diorama playthrough live stream that we did, I think it was Series 10, was to have 1,000 beavers on there. That did not end up working out. We did get 500, 550, I think. But I think we could do it now, especially with the vertical terrains. We could have multiple levels of farming and stuff. I think that would be fine. I don't know if that's the next series I want to do or not. I might want to save that for the full release of Update 7, in case Mechanistry wants to sponsor me again. But I currently have no idea if that's going to be a thing or not. Alright, they can't reach that. One more in here, and then we can start planting again. Soybeans. Alright, so we'll just get all those planted. As long as this can keep up, which I think we aren't going to have any problem with water anymore, we'll be in good shape. Oh, this is super, super dry. Is this still open? Oh, you know what? This is an opportunity, since it's a dry here. We can replace this with... Oh, no. Oh, no, we can't. That's a problem. Here I was thinking that would be a smart idea. Please do not harass Mechanistry and ask them to sponsor me. Please don't do that. They reached out last time because they wanted to, and I was very thankful for it. If they don't do it again, then that is okay. Obviously, I'd like to, but please do not bother them. I guess I'm just going to have to rebuild this floodgate and just monitor it again. Oh, man, I wanted to put this thing... I'd have to rebuild this whole thing, and I don't have time in the next 2.5 days to do it. So we'll just put that back in. Yeah, mushrooms and algae are going to be coming soon. But we have to have the beavers to run all that stuff. Remember that we only currently have 63, and I'm trying to increase the population without crashing the game in terms of resources, not in terms of computer resources. So that, I guess, can be set to 0.85? What's this set to? 0.5. Okay, well, that's a different thing entirely. These trees are going to last another couple days. That's going to be fine. I would imagine they're probably, you know, heading to bed, because currently in Poland, I think it's 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock at night. And it's a weekend. I highly doubt that they're watching my streams. I'm not going to cut Gary down. at this point. That would be tantamount to murder. Dam of the farm should really be a floodgate because it keeps letting water out in the drought. Well, the only reason it's letting water out is because I'm filling it with this fluid dump to keep this farm irrigated. And we have so much water it doesn't really matter. Remember that this is still very early in this playthrough and we just kind of cobbled together this nonsense here because this is what was available. We have so much space to do other stuff, and once we have the resources to actually get into tubeways and stuff, you're going to see this map change a lot. But we need to get a handle on all of this mess here. And I'm not exactly sure what the best way to do that would be. Honestly, we're probably okay for now. Wouldn't it be murder redeadening since Gary is dead already? I mean, if you want to get into the specifics of it, then I guess technically. It's too bad there's no signs I can put in here. I do have access to big signs in Update 6. I don't know that it works in Update 7. I haven't tried, actually. But if it does, we'll add it before the next stream. Oh, I need to put floodgates in here before it gets to be too late. This I will set to, I guess, 0.85 is probably okay. Oh my god. You liar. Also, I'd probably never stream for 10 hours. That's just way too much time. Why is my computer dropping frames? It should not be dropping frames. Cycle 19. Let me pull up my stats thing. No, you idiot, get up there. Alright. So, it's not overheating, actually. CPU is at a cool 51 degrees Celsius currently, which under load is not that bad. It says system temperature inside the case is 43, so I know my Wi-Fi chip's not dying. It's because some people are slandering Gary in chat, are you sure? Oh, it also could be because I'm trying to shove 30,000 kilobits per second bitrate through live streaming. It's probably too high. Alright, anyway. We are about to have water come back in here. We're about to see this get filled up nicely. One thing I didn't consider was, again, water can never be higher on the outlet than it is on the inlet of one of these things. So once this gets full, past the full height of the sluice, the water in this side is just going to spill out the edge here, because that's how I have it set for bad water. So probably what's going to happen is we're going to have to put... Oh, I can't do that. I can't put those there. We're going to have to put dams back here and hope it doesn't overflow. I think we should be good. Now, the multi-computer setup is just completely unnecessary unless you're playing something that needs to have 100% of your computing power, like a shooter or something, which I don't ever plan on streaming. Timberborn is not a very resource-intensive game. Also, that's expensive to have multiple computers. I'd rather have one really good computer than one that's pretty good and one that's just kind of okay. Build a levee in front of the open spot and put the sluice on top of the levees. It'd be ugly, but it would work. You know, we don't even have to have levees there because sluices will just go on top of these things. Now, I don't know if the beavers can actually get over here anymore, or if I'm going to have to build them a a way to get in. But if we close below contamination, all of these, I need to make sure that this is unchecked. That option should never be checked by default. But the idea being that these would only open when it is time for bad water to be dealt with. So, if we did that, I think all I'd have to do is put in this here. Just so they can, you know, actually reach everything. We have plenty of wood. That could be a fun project for them to do. Now, Timberborn didn't break the PC. Timberborn broke Timberborn. Like, my computer wasn't lagging. It's really... I'm not going to say it's poorly optimized because that's not accurate. It's just, the game is not designed to do what people are doing with the game. Like water beavers. That is a mod. That is not the fault of the game. That is, the mod is so insanely just complicated that it causes problems to occur. It is beyond the scope of the game. So, for us to say that that is the fault of the game itself would not be a factual statement. The game running completely vanilla is totally fine. This is update 7. I get mixed up with so many series. Yeah, me too. At the time the update 7 experimental thing launched, which was completely a surprise, I had 5 active series in the game. That's part of the reason why we haven't done anything else, because I really wanted to get these finished before I start something new, because we're supposed to have the new Ostriv update as well at some point soon. And I hate abandoning stuff. Okay, what has no recipe selected? Oh, that's this. That food factory that needs to just be paused because we're not actually using it. So, canola oil. That doing cassava is fine. I'm going to put in another fermenter for the soybeans. And then that's going to give us the opportunity to put in a big storage for soybeans. And I guess cassavas as well probably should go somewhere else. Get these things out of here. I know we've got some real ugly stuff going on over here. Like what I just did with this. Why do I have so many series? Because people ask for them. At one point I was just doing one series at a time, and then I wanted to try doing some other stuff, so I started another series while another one was not yet complete. And then at some point that just kind of became the expectation that I would have multiple series going. Which, to be perfectly clear, I like having different things to go back and forth between, because it ends up being... was that cassava? Yeah. It ends up getting... I'm not going to say boring, but it does end up getting to be a little bit much to have just a single series constantly. And then you feel like you're trapped doing one thing. And then, also, frankly, it is a lot better for the channel analytically to have series kind of offset to where different stuff is experiencing peak popularity at different times that are more spread out. So, like, if I have one series that I say every series is 30 episodes long, and when one series gets to, say, episode 15, 16, or halfway through, I start a new one, then that keeps the traffic kind of consistent, because people will overwhelmingly almost always watch the beginning of the series, but after the first 10, 15 episodes, the viewership really drops off. So if I'm wanting to keep the numbers on the channel consistent and give people stuff to watch, so they're not just, oh, I'm going to watch this one thing, and then they don't watch a video for like 6 months because they don't want to watch the same thing forever, then that gives them more options. But where I got into trouble was I had the live stream series with the Ember Pelts, and then I started a playthrough of videos with the Ember Pelts, and I had this live stream series because Update 7 had started. And then I had a couple Update 6 things. I had Apocalypse Mode, I had the Satisfactory streams, I had Roller Coaster Tycoon, I had all this different stuff going on. Like, there's 7 days a week. I'm not going to publish more than one video a day. And when the new stuff is new, people want to see videos on that, so I focused on that, and then all of a sudden it's a month and a half later and I haven't streamed this, and then all this other stuff has happened. It's like, it's a lot to keep up with. It's a lot to keep up with. Also, there's people that don't always like one specific series for whatever reason, and if they don't watch videos, then they're going to be less likely to watch future videos. Not that I'm like trying to bait people into doing whatever, but I'm trying to make it so that whoever wants to participate has something they can like, without it just turning into me trying to play catch up and run around for all this different stuff. Oh, I absolutely get confused with so many saves. It is sometimes completely impossible for me to remember what I've done. Alright, up to 16 well-being because of all this new food stuff. That's taken care of. I really need to redo this, but for right now this is about it's about the best I can do with what we got. I think this is going to be a decent spot to put in. Do we have injured beavers? We have 2 incapacitated. I think we already have beds somewhere. Do we? Let's check. I have 1 medical bed. Okay, well, you know what? That answers that question then. This can be a medical bed. See you, Gary. Actual Gary, not tree Gary. Have fun on your bike ride. Have a safe time, and we'll look forward to seeing you soon. Yeah, I don't know how much longer I'm going to stream either. I do have a bunch of stuff I got to do today, but I really wanted to try and make some progress in this playthrough, because we have so much going on. Okay, they're almost done with this. I know we have our drought coming in 0.2 days. But we did manage to get a pretty good amount of water stored in here. I think we can be pretty happy with that. How would you make a shower tower? Okay, so that's a meme from a long time ago. But what we had done, I think this was update 4 on Diorama. And we had made showers, and then there was a mod at the time called side platforms that's largely been replaced by these overhangs here. But we made showers that were... So I know they can't build over here. Actually, no, they can. We'd made showers that had been hanging off like this, and then we'd put overhangs with the side platforms on top of them. So we had... Oh, we'll see if I can actually make this work here. Whoa, how long have we been able to do this? Okay, that's kind of cool. But basically what I had done was something to the effect of that, to where the showers just kind of stack and they can all pull from the same set of like water or whatever. But this is basically what we had ended up doing, because the showers have a 6 depth straw they can pull from. So you could actually, depending on how the thing is laid out, you could have like a stack of like 3 of these like this. So it was just one of those stupid things that like someone said, hey, build this, and I said, well, there's no possible way that's going to work, and then it actually did. So it just became like a channel meme that people ended up going with. If more well-being is around the medical beds, do they heal quicker? I'm pretty sure it has no effect, unfortunately. Do you even need the platforms? You just use the overhangs. Well, the reason I put platforms in was because I only have currently the 2x1 overhang unlocked. If I had the longer ones, it would work just fine. Hello, hello. Never get roundabouts anymore? You can't really build those in Timberborn, can you? City Skylines 1 streams were a whole lot of fun, but then City Skylines 2 came out and it was a huge disappointment, so we just kind of abandoned it. But the game has gotten a lot of updates and a lot of improvements. We have content creator packs and things have been fixed, and this computer runs it reasonably well, so I think I would like to get back into streaming City Skylines 2 at some point. But we still have all these Beaver series to get through and all this other stuff. I don't think we're going to continue the Ember Pelt streams because there's no reason to. That was a proof of concept for the mod to see if people wanted to see videos. And it's been like, I don't know, 2 months since we streamed that, at least. And we pretty much accomplished everything we needed to with that one. I mean, if people are, like, actually mad that I'm not going to do those, then I guess I could do, like, one last one and build the monument or whatever. But I'd rather have that monument go off in the video series, because more people are watching that. Have fun. We'll see you later. The Billy Beaverson. Yeah, possibly. Alright, so let's see what else we can get accomplished here. Tear these trees out again. Our amount of incapacitated beavers is actually equal to the vacancies, so I guess I probably should put in a few more medical beds. This would be a decent place to do that. Oh, they still haven't built these. Okay. So what's up with that? Oh, it's because they're working on building this warehouse. We've got homeless beavers. Man, we got so much to figure out here. We also have the row houses that we can do that are a little bit more space efficient, even if they are kind of ugly. But I think it's probably going to make more sense for us to just kind of stack these houses on top of each other, if we can find decent places to do that. Not really a lot of options here. So we actually did, well, not technically exactly what you're talking about, but in between versions of Timberborn, I did have people submit their colonies so I could do like just little reviews of them. Short videos, 5-10 minutes, just kind of showcasing what people have built. And I think I did that last time when I did one of those cross-country trips to visit family so I could make videos that weren't time-dependent. And that's been a long time, so I hadn't even thought about bringing it back, but that could be an interesting thing to do. Paul Phillips, thanks very much for the 5 gifted memberships. Appreciate you. Let's see, Swapnil, Pandy, Bobby, Corey Rico, Sigve Skogvol, and Rogue Operations, welcome and welcome back to the Beard Boosters. A couple of those names I recognize. But as always, thank you very much for supporting the channel. Yeah, the showcases are cool. It's one of those things that I can't really justify taking a slot away from an active series to do. But if I don't have something else to publish, then it makes perfect sense to put out a video like that. Or like Roller Coaster Tycoon or whatever. Because those are kind of evergreen things, right? But when you have the new update stuff come out and people are real excited to see new beaver content, then why not put out videos on the new beaver content? Priority function to queue up builds, I have never ever been happy with because they ignore it half the time when building stuff like dams or whatever, so I just never bother with it unless I really, really need a specific thing done super fast. What point am I going to have to hire an editor? If I have to hire an editor, I'm probably done, honestly. I cannot afford to pay somebody fair market rate for editing services unless I was making 5 or 6 times what I'm making right now. And currently I'm able to play the games, enjoy playing the games, have a very simple process for uploading videos, and what I make doing this is enough for me to justify the time that I'm spending and not go seek out full-time employment somewhere else. But it does not scale very easily at all in terms of making just tremendously higher amounts of money so you can hire other people to help you make money until you're getting a lot more views. And I mean a lot. Like, I would have to probably have every single video 50,000 views or more to justify paying someone a full-time editor's salary, which is not cheap. And I'm not going to pay somebody like pennies to do it either. I don't believe in doing that. Oh, I didn't even read the second half of the message. Oops. Not for the game, but for the members list. That, I don't know. because it's gotten to be very long. It's like 15 or 1600 names. And for a while, I had a nice system in place where I would just only have to update a couple things a day every time that I made a new video, but then it turned into that one stream where we had, I think, 300 gift memberships. Took me 4 hours to update the list that day, which, hey, I'm not going to complain about that because that's a very good problem to have, but it took a lot of time. People, for some reason, get really angry about shorts on this channel. I don't know why. Because the analytics in my YouTube dashboard tell me that, and whether this is true or not, the analytics tell me proportionally, essentially everyone is watching YouTube shorts. I don't know if that means they're actually every day watching YouTube shorts or they clicked on it once 6 months ago. It doesn't give me that information. But it says that people want to watch it, and then every time I bring it up, people are very vocal about how much they hate shorts. And I don't want to put the effort into doing that if people aren't going to watch it. You can afford an editor. It's called having a kid. I don't have kids. I'm not married. I probably am never going to be. And I'm also not going to use children for free labor because I don't like that. Yeah, raising a kid to the age of 18 in the U.S. is like $1 million investment. Yeah, as someone who studied in college creative media and production stuff, I will never, ever allow someone to work for free. It is like the most exploitative and toxic thing you can do to someone who is trying to actually make money, is tell them they need to work for free and get experience that way. Experience does not pay bills. I also, okay, since we're on the subject, someone said shorts like ads never go there. Yeah, I don't want to take sponsorships that are not like people who make the game that I'm playing in the video that I'm making. I don't want to take sponsorships from this channel. Like, I'm not going to sell you health insurance or therapy or whatever, frozen food or whatever. I don't want to assault you with advertisements. But if somebody who makes the games wants to throw me money to play the games that I'm already going to want to play, then hey, who am I to say no to that? I'm always going to have a fun time promoting this game, because I love the game, and I want people to play it. I want to recognize the work that the developers are doing, but no, not going to throw ads at you. Outside of, like, the actual ads that pay for the videos in the YouTube stream, because that's how the website works. I'm also not taking Manscaped sponsorships. I don't need to sell you beard or other body part trimmers. Timberborn is better as long-form content, I think. And although I do enjoy from time to time watching, like, say, like the types of videos RCE makes where he edits stuff down or he does different challenge-type things, or like the Mythbusters episode that he did was really good. But I think, like, especially games like this, like city builder-type games, really function best when you can see the entire process and you can appreciate the effort it takes to get somewhere, and you can see things transform over time. And yeah, it's nice to see finished products, but I like to see the process more than the result in most cases. Raid Shadow Legends sponsorships. Nope. No gacha games. Excuse me. No Genshin Impact. Or whatever the kids are playing these days. Never known a single person IRL online who's ever actually played Raid Shadow Legends. Yeah, I don't either. And it's always really funny whenever I see one of those sponsorships and people are like, I've been playing this game for 6 months. No, you haven't. I promise you, you have not been playing the game for 6 months. The only thing that should be in the shorts is funny moments from streams. Yeah, and that's something, again, it takes time, but that's something you guys can actually clip. I think I have that setting turned on where you can clip from streams. I don't know, you obviously you can't publish to my channel with that, but you can, I think, have the option to do clips from streams and generate your own shorts content from it, I think. I've never done it, but I think that's a mechanism that is in place. Oh, you actually played Raid for a week? Was it fun? I've never played the game. Never even installed it. The thing with games like, again, VOD watchers who actually want to see gameplay, first of all, thank you for being here. Second of all, I'm so sorry, but I'm not that sorry. The games like that, I really don't see the point of because they're constantly adding new stuff. And unless there's some sort of, like, emotional tie-in you have to the characters, or if it's, like, a property or something, like, I know, like, other gacha games, like, the different, like, anime franchises or whatever they have, those people are really attached to that stuff. And that gives them, like, an excuse to interact with the characters or the world building or whatever, and that's fine. But, like, Raid Shadow Legends is a completely original thing. So, for you to have some sort of attachment to that, to the point where you're going to want to invest the time that's necessary to get far enough in there, like, I just, like, as someone in his 30s, I don't see that having any appeal to me at all. Obviously, it's different for younger people that have more free time or have the ability to become emotionally invested in more stuff than those of us who are older. Then that's a different story. But I've never understood it. Please do not write fan fiction of me, thank you. See you, Tiffany. But I digress. Let's actually try to get some more stuff done before I have to say goodbye and go do other stuff, like record tomorrow's Apocalypse Mode video. We have our well-being average up to 16. It did get up to 17 for a little bit. I think once we have our soybeans actually getting processed, we are going to be seeing that go up a whole lot more. But I don't have a lot of storage space for a bunch of this stuff. Again, the terrain is kind of inhospitable over here, so we do need to have storage for some of these other things, like soybeans, specifically right here, because I know we're going to be growing more of those. We already have canola seed storage that has been more or less completely plucked dry, but we have canola oil, so we know we can put some in here. But the problem is, we don't have enough soybeans because that's not prioritized. Actually, all of these food things probably need to be prioritized. That would just make sense. Thank you very much, Thad. Appreciate it. Devilish says the only people investing time into those games, the gacha games, are bored, wealthy, bored with no impulse control, depressed, and needing dopamine. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and pass judgment on people for what they choose to do with their free time necessarily, but that is probably a pretty accurate statement, based on my personal experience at least. Terraforming, we are very far away from being able to work. Devilish, thanks very much for 10 gifted memberships. Appreciate it. Nasir, Rowan Rat, John Abbott, Nexon Fire, Dandelion D, Jan Joost, Deanne Stratford, Tim Ayers, Grant Young, and Brownie 00 gifted on behalf of a Devilish Fun. Thank you again, and welcome to those of you who are new. And Betabri 42, sorry if I mispronounced that. I do not remember what you told me the correct pronunciation was, so please correct me if that was wrong. Gifted 5 memberships: Christopher Hailfire, Oliver Thor Sorensen, Joshua Hest, Wayne E., Thomas Gallet. Welcome to the boosters. Welcome back. A couple of those names I do recognize. Oh boy, here we go. Here we go. Jacob, we'll get to you in a second, says, I only played Raid Shadow Legends to get a reward for another game that was not Raid Shadow Legends. It's like downloading Google Chrome with Microsoft Edge. I just hate having an ad for a game and another ad within a game. Yeah. Well, that's the society and the economic environment we find ourselves in, unfortunately. But yes. I don't know. Like, there's value to, like, collaborative stuff in media. Sometimes it can be really fun. But that is very funny. That would be why you played the game. Anyway, the main event. Jacob has gifted 20 memberships. My goodness. Alexis Ree, Century Chaland, Lucifer Draco, Gabriel Vasquez, Benjamin P, Jay Henson, Dave Hollowell, Tom Kelly, Teddy Ha 86, Instructional Sparrow, Danny Kavanaugh, Toby Butt 89, Ellen Matson, Derek Madsen, Brian Slater, Scroto T. Baggins. Yeah, there you go. That's a creative name. Oh, it scrolled me. Hold on. Oh, no. Oh, here we go. Nicholas Spawn, Corey, Firstus, Secondus, Alex Krippner, and I believe that's everybody from Jacob. So thank you very much, Jacob, and welcome back. Welcome to the rest of you. Jason Zinda making an appearance once again. 10 gifted memberships. Let's see who's got them. Cecily Woodman, Nada Bandicoot, Arya Sen, Nathaniel Lang. What in the world? I'm not sure how to pronounce that. I'm sorry. It starts with a G. Just Stuck, Meanie TV, Liam. Is that like a meh face emoji? Casey Kitchell, Vito Galatro, from Jason Zinda. Thank you very much, Jason. And then Stuart Bett comes in with 20 gifted memberships. My goodness, here we go, folks. Let's see, where did that start? It scrolled me again. All right, Pedro, Mark, Krunal, Josh, Xander Gaming, Noob Cow, Martin Lassell, LaSalle maybe, Jordan Aldridge, Kristen Schuritz, Frank Kruger, Phoenix, Logie, Logi maybe, possibly, Braden Smith, parentheses Galaga guy. Galaga's a fun game. Kevin Sakamoto, probably not actually pronounced that way. I'm sorry if I mispronounce your names. I am trying my best. Stephen Coach, Conrad Urch, Grand Pooba 00. You know, that makes me think of that Flintstones episode where they joined the Loyal Order of the Water Buffalo. Kiara Kaparev, Alice Pfeiffer, Katharina Grace, and I believe that's all 20 of them. Thank you very much, Stuart. Appreciate the support, and welcome to everyone who joined as a result. Yeah, no need for sponsors. Honestly, yes. Obviously, like, I'm not going to give like actual specific monetary figures, but the Beard Booster revenue was enough to completely fund this entire computer, and that is, I don't know, several months worth, but tremendous amounts of support. Really cannot do it without you guys. I really appreciate it, because as time goes on, this becomes more and more load bearing in terms of my ability to provide for myself and people I care about. And there's a whole lot of time I spend doing this that really makes it possible for me to continue to justify how much time I'm spending when you guys support so incredibly. So I really appreciate it, genuinely. Contributing 1% toward the 5090. Hey, if I can find one at MSRP and I have the cash, then maybe we'll see. I don't think Beans is in here, but I know Beans was really looking forward to getting a 5090. I don't think he's found one yet. We were going to camp out at Micro Center for one, but no. That ended up being a bad choice. I think the store that we were closest to had like 5 allocated on launch day, which, forget it, there were like 200 people in line. Yes, Grand Pooba was the leader of the Loyal Order of the Water Buffalo and Flintstones. Exactly. Came back from an excursion with the school and 18,000 subscribers. Congrats. I really appreciate it. Yeah, you guys are awesome. The support on the channel for the last like 2 months especially has been completely insane with the advent of the Update 7 stuff. Question got lost in the donos. It happens. But I'm actually interested in your thoughts on the viability of the merch. So merchandise for me, I don't think is ever going to be something that I would like to turn into a profit center, if that makes sense. Because I don't like the idea of charging a bunch of money for stuff if it doesn't need to be expensive. So the way I had the mugs set up, I think, is probably about as good of an arrangement as we could have possibly had, because it's a cost plus thing, right? Like the Fourth Wall website basically sources these things, has contractors that print on demand, and then they fulfill the orders. So I don't have to lay out thousands of dollars up front to have designs made, have print pads made, buy the merchandise, have the machines to actually, screen print on stuff. And for stuff like mugs, there's a process they put on there so it can actually be used and it doesn't wear off. Unless it does wear off, and then that's a problem, and you let me know and we'll take care of it. But the point is, it is streamlined to the point where it doesn't have to be something that costs me a lot of money and a lot of time, and it's still a pretty reasonable price for what you're getting. And I'm not making a bunch of money, and I think I profit on each of those was like $3, which for merchandise, if that was a business venture that I was just completely doing only to make money, that's a terrible profit margin. You're not going to survive. But again, I don't want to do the merchandise to get rich off of it. I want to do merchandise because people want it, and I want there to be a pretty reasonable quality product at a decent price. So any future merchandise stuff that I do is probably going to be priced about as low as I possibly can do it, which is why I don't have stickers. Because the fourth wall sticker sheet is like the minimum price for some of that's like $8 or $9, which is completely insane. So if I can figure out another solution for that, then maybe, but right now it doesn't make sense. Go to a government buyback where you can buy stuff that was confiscated and buy computer parts. I highly doubt that a 5090 would ever show up in one of those things. Need a body pillow? Please? No. Did you see the Satisfactory store had a body pillow of Jace and Snoot on it? It was really funny. But people get weird with body pillows, man. I guess it's a little different when it's like a 33-year-old like overweight dude with a beard versus like a anime character who's like 12. Please don't do that. But yeah. That's territory that gets real weird, man. Now, plushies are something we can do through fourth wall, but there is an upfront cost to it. And that has a minimum purchase of an amount that I do not think would be currently possible for me to sell. But that's something I'm definitely open to. We'd have to have a pretty long list of people actually firmly commit to buy one before I would even attempt to design it, just because of the cost involved. But that is something that is possible. There's a 5090 for $30 at what? There's no way that was real. That is absolutely not what I'm saying. Flooding incoming? No, we shouldn't have any flooding. Because this has, oh, wait. No, it might actually. No, it shouldn't, because, remember, the water here can never be higher than the water that's back here. Just because of the way the water pressure works. So it's already flooding off this side, and, well, this is always going to be closed. So I don't think we're ever going to have any overflow, and if we do, then we can replace these with dams, which we might need to do at some point anyway. But this is flooding slightly because I don't have this open, so we can move that along there. And that should take care of most of those problems. This is already set to 0.85. Okay, a raffle ticket for $100 on a 5090. That's a different story, and also probably not something I would do. Yeah, RCE did do a plushie. I mean, I obviously don't have access to like know how many of those he's sold, but I do remember he did that maybe a year or two ago. I think he did one of Patty as well, if I'm remembering correctly. But he's got an enormous subscriber base. Like, he's got multiple millions of subscribers, and he's got, oh, I don't even know how many people on his Patreon. So, like, he definitely, he has the audience size that justifies making, like, limited run custom merchandise like that. And I'm sure he's making pretty good money on that, because I mean, he's got a family. He's got bills to pay. Never going to get mad at somebody for making money. And he's got like a whole team of editors and stuff. He's got like a veritable enterprise going. I'm a guy who sits in his room and plays the Beaver game for a couple hours a day, and I put videos up. Like, I essentially have almost no expenses to do this. I use the money I make on YouTube to pay my bills, help out my family, and try to make some investments for the future, and every once in a while maybe do something nice for myself. I've really, I've kind of streamlined my life to the point where I don't have expensive tastes, and I try very hard not to be wasteful, so I can be respectful to the people that are helping contribute to me being able to do this. Okay, alright. The whole never going to get mad at somebody making money, also I'm never going to take sponsorships thing, that's not like a mutually exclusive statement. It's just, for me personally, for my values, I would not want to take money for sponsorships because I don't want to endorse something just because someone is paying me to do it. I'd want to endorse something based on me thinking genuinely that it is a worthwhile thing to endorse. And if the relationship for a sponsorship starts, I guess I'll move so you can actually see the beavers. If the relationship for a sponsorship starts by them saying, hey, we'll pay you, say, $1,000 to promote our product, then it's objectively impossible for me to make a fair assessment of that product because I've already been primed to think it's good because these people are throwing money at me. So I don't want to put myself in that position where I'm using whatever tiny shred of influence or clout that I have to profit at the expense of my integrity. And I know that's not something everyone's going to say, and if that's their value statement, then that's them. That's not my business. But I don't want that to be me. Now, I'm going to open this sluice because this is going to flood. And I don't want to fill up our little central thing. I'm just going to leave this open for a little bit so we can have as much money, talking about money, as much water in here as we possibly can. I think that should get us just about all the way there. In the next 0.9 days, we will keep a watch on this. Could have trade and transit related items in the merch store. Oh, you better believe I'm already planning that. And I guess I could let you guys in on a little, not a secret, but advanced stuff. I am, at some point this summer, planning on starting a second channel for train and transit-related content, including maybe some model railroading stuff. But that is a long way off. I got some stuff I have to figure out before then. But that's something I've been interested in for a really long time, and it kind of loosely ties in with some of the stuff we've been doing, but not closely enough for me to put it on this channel. So we will see what happens with regard to that. I am absolutely not running for the government positions, please and thank you. I guess my personal opinions on that are not relevant for YouTube, but I guess you could say it kind of ties into my whole ethics statement kind of stuff that I just talked about. Donut overflow floods the low ground industrial area. No. It empties into this channel, which goes out this way. It doesn't actually connect to this. But knowing that this is the way it is, I am going to have to replace one or more of these levees with dams once the water goes down. So I have to decide. I have to decide exactly what would be going on that other thing. I don't think I'd want it to be video game related, because YouTube kind of punishes you for straying outside of whatever, what's the word? Like specific, like idealized compartment of the internet that it wants you to be in. If you post something outside of that, it's going to tank your analytics, which is unfortunate that that's the way that this website works, but that's just how it is. Welcome back. Costco is fine. My goodness, I'll never go on a Saturday afternoon. Yeah, Saturday afternoon or Sunday afternoon into Costco is... forget it. It's not bad in the morning. If you go early enough, it's not bad. You get a little bit more toward lunch, and then it starts to get crowded. If you have the ability during the week to go... like early afternoon, like right around the end of lunchtime, it's usually, well, my local one usually isn't that bad. Oh, we do have homeless beavers. That's right. We're going to solve that problem, and then we didn't, because I got distracted. So that will be a stackable barracks situation where we just... Oh, I can't actually put that there. I'll have to put it here, because otherwise I'd be blocking off my pods. And we will put our little 1x1 roofing piece there. Alright. Costco is an interesting place for a variety of reasons. I will say it is objectively not a good way to save money if you are not already consuming the stuff in mass quantities, because everything that is in Costco is more expensive just on the sticker, because everything is a larger quantity. You buy the 10-pound meat log or whatever for, I'm sure it's a good price, but you know, most people don't go through that much beef unless you've got a big family, or you buy a bunch at once and you portion it out into like 1-pound things and you freeze it so you can have it later. That's a really good way to save money. But the average, like, typical consumer just does not need that much quantity on stuff. And there's no small packages of anything, like I said. But if you have it figured out to where what you actually use and need to buy can be, I don't know what the word would be, But it can be separated, amortized, however you want to word it, into like one really big purchase a couple times a year, and you can just separate stuff out, or like non-perishable goods especially, like toilet paper, paper towels. Sometimes they have good deals on stuff like socks and whatnot, and that's a good way to save some money if you plan it in advance. But if you go into Costco or Sam's Club or BJ's or whatever the Price Club, whatever the variant is where you are, without a plan and with a wallet full of cash, you're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna buy stuff you don't need, and you're gonna walk out. You're like, well, how did I spend $300 at Costco? Like, well, you didn't have any discipline. You bought some stupid garbage you didn't need because it was there and it was neat. Which, I don't know. Again, do what you want. I'm not your dad, but there's probably better ways to spend your money and plan things out. All right. I think Timberborn needs an update that lets you set work time per building. Yes, that would be tremendous. That would be absolutely amazing. Meat log question mark. Yes, Costco sells a 10-pound roll of ground beef that colloquially people refer to as a meat log, because it's basically the size of a log and it's made of meat. Yeah, the sodas, if you're buying a lot of soda, which I probably should not encourage people to purchase mass quantities of soda unless they're, refilling vending machines. I know there's a lot of people who have vending businesses that will buy stuff there, but there's pretty good prices on some of that stuff. Cereal usually is a pretty good deal. The Costco deli, or whatever you want to call it, like they have all that prepared food, isn't necessarily the best price on stuff, but the quality is very good. And if you have to have like a party, or you have people, like a big family you have to feed, and you just want an easy meal, it's a good option. Rotisserie chicken, $5, hard to beat. Objectively, it's not like the best rotisserie chicken I've ever had, but for $5, it's really, really hard to beat that. Yeah, okay, and I see you made a comment about the pork butt. The meat is usually pretty good, but honestly, it's not always the best prices at Costco. Like local butchers, if you have a good local butcher, and you know how to buy stuff, and you get there at the right time, you might be able to get a pretty good deal on some really high quality meat and support a local business, which I'm always in favor of. But some of the stuff like chicken at Costco, there's sometimes a good price on that. We used to buy that, but eventually it gets to the point where sometimes you end up justifying the purchase of the large quantities of stuff because it's there and you have the opportunity to buy it, not because you need it, which I think gets you into a dangerous mindset, and you can spend a lot of money that you don't need to. Oh, we have unemployed beavers. I get so distracted when you guys talk to me in chat. I love it. Let's get these lumberjacks and these foresters going. And we need to increase our log storage. Get a couple of industrial piles put in different spots here. I guess I could put some storage somewhere over here. Probably no reason not to do that. Just put in a nice and simple thing here. Heard the meat logs are actually more sanitary. They just don't look aesthetically pleasing as the meat under cellophane, so they developed a cheap association. I mean, ground beef, and if any of you have butcher experience, please chime in. But I've always been told that it's better to buy stuff like beef in large quantities and cut it yourself if you're concerned about contamination, versus buying like a huge quantity of ground beef. Because when you make ground beef, you're putting it through a grinder. That's why it's called ground beef. And you're mixing the surface of the meat into the inside of the meat. And if there's any contamination on the surface, then it's in the entire thing. Versus you buy like a whole side of beef and you do it yourself, then you have a little bit more control over that. But obviously that takes a lot of time and a lot of effort and a lot of equipment that people might not have access to. And you end up paying for the convenience of not having to do that yourself. Okay, Kurt, I'm definitely not reading that. Worked in a grocery store butcher. The meat grinders are disgusting. It does not surprise me at all. Medium rare burgers are a bad idea. Yep. They taste good, though. So if you can find, like, like farm fresh, like clean beef that you can trace and you know that it's been like minimally handled and it's like better quality than other stuff, you can probably get away with maybe a little bit more. But I don't know. For me, burgers got to be like at least medium. At least medium. Steak though, medium rare all day every day. Ground beef also has a much bigger surface area for the same size and weight, so it can attract more contaminants. Yep. Need to add fat when grinding the meat. Yeah. There's a lot I don't know about, like, the process of... I don't even know what the correct term is for it, so I guess meat craft might have to suffice. How did we get on this subject? Oh, boy. But yeah, and that's a good point. Buying a house after living in a no-storage apartment, I love Costco because I can buy the things in bulk that I know I'll use and save. Yes, if you have a good use case for this stuff, it is absolutely a no-brainer. But if you don't, you're going to spend a lot of money. Okay, that's cursed, first of all. 30 years, the only thing I care about when it comes to food being the taste. Just had my blood work done. Everything is perfect. Congratulations. Congrats on your good health. So my recommendation is eat whatever. Yeah, it's funny. It really is super funny. I don't know. I guess I shouldn't be specific about like people's names or identities or whatever. But I know a bunch of people who are like meticulous about their health and eat very healthy food, exercise regularly, and they always have problems, stuff going on. And I also know people who do not take care of themselves, just sit on their butt watching TV all day and eat like they're about to die, and they have like perfectly clean blood work. It doesn't make sense. And I know there's a lot of factors at play, and like individual people have different predispositions to some stuff, and there's genes and all sorts of whatever that comes into it. But it is just sometimes a little funny how little some of that stuff matters, depending on your situation. Yeah, the power lines mod, I want to say, unless it was something different, I do know of a different faction that was being worked on, but obviously has not been finished yet, that was going to use power lines and stuff like that. I mean, Kurt, I feel like if you have to ask me if it's okay, it's probably not going to be. Please exercise your best judgment. And if you don't think your best judgment is enough, then put yourself in my shoes and exercise my best judgment. Oh boy. No one except Devilish can stop you. The message above. Message deleted by Devilish Fun. View deleted message. I want to view the deleted message. Oh. Okay, that's the exact one I just read. Never mind. No question was asked. I mean, if it's like genuinely TMI, then like, yeah, please don't. But a little bit of banter is fun. I need to actually play this game or people are going to get mad. What do you mean, what did he ask? You're the one that deleted the... You're the one that deleted the comment. Elemental Exposure asks, think the devs will add new factions? I don't know. I'd love to see them add new factions, but honestly, the Water Beavers and the Ember Pelts, for right now, I think are very good fan-made contributions that I think a lot of people have enjoyed. I think, I mean, we don't know what's going to come with the full release of Update 7. We don't know what's going to come with Update 8, if there's going to be an Update 8. We don't know how many updates there are going to be before they decide the game's done. But I would really like to see... I'd really like to see at least one new faction and a couple of other things added to the game. But we'll see what happens. Pipes have been a strange omission. Okay, well, about the pipes, like, you know we can make those, right? Now that we have, I obviously this I can't make right now because I don't have them unlocked, but we can make pipes out of terrain blocks and these overhangs and stuff, and pump water through them. Well, pump, quote-unquote. So there is a mechanism now to roughly approximate that functionality. But if you're talking about, you know, like the tubeways, being pipes to transport water. No, that doesn't exist. And that would be really cool if it did. But I think the spirit of Timberborn with the exposed water and making the viaducts and the log flumes and stuff, I think has a lot more charm to it than just putting water through a pipe. You know, like Satisfactory obviously has the pipes, and there's the different liquids and stuff you can pump through those. But I like being able to see the water flowing and see how it interacts with the physics in this game. I think that's one of its best things that it has to offer. So I would honestly maybe be a little disappointed if they got rid of that, if that makes sense. You could transport water using the tubeways, just need... Yeah, exactly, because the tubeways are essentially enclosed paths with super speed. So that would kind of make it... I'm not going to say pointless, because I rarely think things are truly pointless in a creative game like this, but I really don't see much of a reason to use something like that. Like specifically a pipe versus have a bunch of hauling beavers take stuff through tubeways. Mod that uses pipes to transport water, don't think it works on 7. Yeah, I did see that before. I never used it, but I do remember seeing that. Yeah, tubeways are great, and I don't think I have time today to get into those. But we are going to use and abuse those for this playthrough. So before we do that, we do need to make sure we have a lot of supplies to build them, which planks and metal blocks. We have 200 some planks, we have 400 some metal blocks. We could actually probably put in a few more of these piles to make storages for stuff. So let's, since we're already here, let's make that a thing that they can go ahead and work on. Since we're spending so much time, you know, doing stuff that isn't Timberborn, it just makes sense for us to allow this to continue. So I'm going to, since these are no longer actually trees, I'm going to leave a space there for another another set of things, and then to start the process of putting in some additional logs and planks. And then since we're already here, I'll just go ahead and put storage for some gears as well. And we're going to get these guys in here taking care of additional food stuff. I really need to be better about utilizing utilizing the resources we have access to, instead of just sitting here talking the whole time. But now that we have the 3 food factories, we can start planting other crops. Like eggplant especially is really good, because you get 3 of these every 12 days versus you know, the other stuff that isn't quite so potent. So I'm going to plant... I know this is going to go away once it turns into poison water time, but eggplants should be fine. I know this is a drought in progress, so it's not going to be here forever, but just a smart way to go about conducting our business here. We still have a ton of corn. I'm actually really surprised. I'm going to go ahead and remove a little bit more of this to plant some more soybeans, because we do seem to be running out of those. Get this taken care of. Oh, I need to look at chat again. Let's see. Okay. A mod idea. 4x4 building and takes bad water on one side and spits out clean water on the other side. Inside mechanics are 2 negative water sources and 2 water sources. I don't know that you can actually build water sources. I don't know if the game allows you to do that, like the way it's coded. But that would be a very interesting way to do it, like a water treatment plant kind of thing. That'd be neat. I feel like it would have to have a pretty heavy cost to build, and would have to consume a bunch of resources to make that make sense from a gameplay perspective. But that would be a very interesting thing to do. Yeah, we're going to get these beers working in a second. I'm trying to catch up on chat here. The donut could become a farm once all the metal's gone. Don't see a faction called Water Beavers. It's called Water Beaver Overhaul. It could also be named White Paws. I don't know exactly. It's last time I downloaded this was like a year and a half ago. I've just had it forever. But you should be able to find it pretty easily if you sort by popularity too. It's been a pretty popular thing, especially since RCE did a very short series about it when it was pretty new. Yeah, it could be White Paws. Alright, let's see. We do have space here to plant some stuff, and I think that probably would be a smart thing for us to do since we do have empty space. And I've got extra beavers, so put a farmhouse in here, and this would be a good place for us to grow soybeans, at least for the time being. Because those take 8 days, and you only get 2 of them. And then when you process it into food, you take 6 soybeans and turn them into 20 fermented, and that is, I mean, it's not terrible, but it's not really the best ratio that we have access to. So if I just make this entire thing here into soybeans, I'm going to leave this space open in case I need to use it for something else, but I think that would make a decent bit of sense to put together like this. That could be, it's just soybean storage because I don't think we have one of those. I keep these guys occupied for a little bit. Just popped in to say I'm loving the Folktale series. Thank you very much for watching. Appreciate it. That's a fun one. I said earlier in the stream that it was, I think, my favorite one we've done so far. Although there are a lot of other really good ones. Yeah, I went super hard on the water beavers. 1, because it's really fun, and 2, because I don't quit. Well, at least not like that. Yeah, Kurt, you're thinking of White Claw. Oh, not Kurt. I'm sorry. I just assumed that was a Kurt thing. I transposed usernames. No, Dalton, that is a that's White Claw you're thinking of. So the White Paws mod actually does have alcohol that you can make in there. You can make wine, you can make using something, there's a couple other things you can use to turn into strong alcohol, I think. Not a sponsor? No, absolutely not. Cider, is cider a thing? I haven't played Update 6 White Paws yet. Alright, wow, we only have 1 empty bed. Now we have no empty beds. Uh-oh. We might be about to get ourselves into trouble here. We still somehow cannot grow enough crops to feed 86 beavers without running out of raw materials. It's kind of surprising. Is any of this actual land? Oh, it's not going to tell me. This looks like it's actual land underneath our inventors, so that would be an easy thing for us to move somewhere else. Now that we have this up here. I'm not going to build a number cruncher yet. Or maybe, no, you know what? You know what, I probably should. I probably can justify doing that. Alright, number cruncher stands. Your time has come. I put it down, and I'm putting an engine next to it to build. So rejoice. Soon you will have your number crunchers. Mostly because I want to get these inventors out of the way, so I can use the space for other stuff. So we'll just sit here watching them build this, I guess, for a little bit. Yes, Father, build the science machine. I don't know why it's so funny having the last 3 letters of that capitalized, but it is. Now pause it and don't build it for the rest of the series. Okay. Alright, problem solved. How are we doing over here with our soybeans? Got everything planted. Very nice. Very nice. Looking good, huh? I'm just kidding. It's fun to mess with you guys, though. Elemental Exposure, thanks very much for gifting a membership to Plutonix_5. Appreciate you. Thanks for supporting the channel, and welcome, Plutonix. You do have access to some emotes. I am working on getting more. And then at some point there will be other benefits as well. I've been saying for the past year and a half. And then very rarely do that. But the boosters do have access to the video of me building this new computer, which I don't personally think is the best thing I've ever made, but people did ask for, so. Pause the engine to be funny. Yeah, that would be pretty funny. We need a Gary emote. You know there's only so many slots, right? You want the Gary emote that badly, huh? Alright. Let's see here. So there has to be the correct background for this, right? Because otherwise it's really hard to cut out. I think. Get Gary's good side here. Alright, come on. Because I want to see all three of these prongs here that he's got. Alright, so if I just have that set like this, that should work. Let me do a screenshot. Boing. Alright. Remind me later to actually cut that out and make it an emote. Oh, you want the picture at night with the lights on. Alright. Well, then that raises the question of how do we actually fit all of this into one thing? Like which side? See, this is why I end up like not doing a bunch of this stuff, because it ends up taking a lot of thought power that I don't necessarily have. Oh, too late. Oh god, no, I hate snipping tools so much. Call me a boomer, I don't care. I much prefer print screen and then pasting it into like Microsoft Paint and then manually cropping stuff. Snipping tool is just so annoying to use. Yeah, water as a background I think is going to be the way to go. We'll have to wait until it turns into night again. Hello, hello. The thing I really don't like about the snipping tool is that if you're actively doing something else, you can't use it because it pauses stuff or it takes over your whole screen versus just hitting print screen. You don't have to paste it immediately. It's just in the clipboard until you can get somewhere to paste it. Oh god. Okay, I'm not reading a good portion of all of that stuff. See, the other problem with like being this direction is I can't get all of it in. I can't get all of it in one shot, especially if the lantern's got to be in there. Now I did get just Gary by. Why are we spending time doing this in a live stream? Why are we like this? Okay, again. The snipping tool overlays stuff on the screen and just takes over the entire display. I do not like that at all. It is just... It's like weaponized bad graphic design and UI design for the point of just saying, hey, we made a new feature. Like most things in Windows 11. Alright. I'm just going to take a picture of this with a screenshot so you guys can have your picture of the oak tree. Was it work? Can I please get a short summary of what I missed? So we have made a lot of progress in this episode. We started with I think like 50 some beavers, and we've managed to get the donut, as we've affectionately named it, basically completely set up to have a maximum water storage around it. We got overflow. We have this changed over to sluices so that it can be fully automated. We put in some sluice gates here to make sure that the amount of clean water we get is as much as possible, and then bad water can still flow out correctly. Let's see. They named this tree Gary, and got more water storage. We've got more food stuff being built, and now we have all these trees removed there. We've got a pretty good amount trees being farmed, growing here. Everything is looking pretty nice. We've got extract as well. We don't have a whole lot of bad water because I haven't done anything else with this. But we do have a mechanism in place to start moving toward advanced breeding pods. But now we are kind of out of housing space, and we need to start doing stuff to fix that. So I'm going to put this in here. Get another large thing. We've got more food storage. We're actually making, with the exception of the stuff that goes in the hydroponic gardens, we're making all the foods and slowly getting that stuff produced. But it does take time. It takes a very long time. And then there was like an hour and a half to 2 hours of talking about trains and other stuff that completely is unrelated to the game, because that's always what happens. And then I guess they come up with strange lore for things in the game again. We also have a number cruncher, which I put in primarily to appease chat and also give us a little bit of our space back for growing crops, which we can go ahead and do with that. And this was never actually able to grow anything on it, but now we can use this space for something else, like some storage, which is always going to be in high demand. So now I can have a storage for just regular eggplants. Go there. And then might as well have another storage for something up here. Not really sure what it would need to be. I guess probably extract would make sense, because we are going to need to have some over here, and this is just a space that has available. Whatever. Yes, the train stuff occurred almost entirely while you were out. I mean, I'm always down to talk about trains, but we're approaching the time now where I'm going to have to probably end stream here in a little bit. But if you missed, I am planning on, within the next couple of months or so, starting a second channel where I do mostly train-related stuff. Probably not video games. Maybe like model railroading, or if I take a trip on a train somewhere and make a video about it or whatever. Just like a fun side project. I haven't done any work on it yet, but as soon as I have something presentable, then I guess I'll advertise it. But I know people don't really like to be spammed with stuff, so I don't want to do it any more than I have to. You guys keep saying I need to debunk the Swayze Express. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens, but we have made some really nice progress with a whole lot of stuff today, and I think we can be pretty proud of that. I don't think we have storage for eggplant rations, which we probably need to add. So why don't we, since this is empty, let's take the time to go ahead and, I guess, just to get rid of that, I'll put my, what was in here? Canola seeds. I'll put that in, and then on top of that I can put the eggplant rations. Since I know we have to have room for that, and since we have access up here already, I don't have to make this complicated. And I can just go ahead and put in a ladder here as well, since that is now something the game lets us do. Super simple. And then that is going to allow me to take this staircase out, but I think I might just leave it in, so we can see what we can do. Sometimes you guys are a little bit much. Oh boy. Now let's go ahead. I guess I could just kind of have this connected that way too. That probably doesn't matter. But we need to have more storage basically everywhere. Yeah, you can build ladders on paths. That is an update to the mod that was made. It does result in some, in my opinion, undesired behavior, because then it doesn't automatically place a path. You do have to do it, and then I usually forget because the mod always did that. But yeah, dynamite on paths is also a really good thing that was improved. So what do I not have storage for? I've got eggplant rations, I've got corn rations, I've got fermented cassava, I've got... Wait a second. I've got 2 of these for fermented cassava? No. This needs to be fermented soybeans. Wait, I already have one of those. Well, then in that case, I guess it's going to have to be mushrooms, which we haven't started doing yet, but I guess we might as well. We have the science for it. We definitely have the water for it. So I guess this right here, since that storage is right across, would be a perfect place to grow mushrooms. We can just start small. But wait a second. No, then this doesn't need to be fermented mushrooms. This needs to be regular mushrooms, because these have to be fermented down here. See, this is such a mess. Like, this layout of all this is just absolutely abominable. But, I guess this is okay. It's definitely not the most beautiful thing ever, but I guess it works. You can always just stack storages. I've seen a bunch of videos on YouTube of people like chasing trains, which, by the way, dangerous. Do not break traffic laws to go take pictures or videos of trains. But it's always entertaining. Yeah, I don't think I want to imagine what beaver milk would taste like. Yeah, we probably do need to tear this down and completely reorganize it, but that is not a this stream problem to solve. I think for now, probably, honestly, now's about a good time to be finished for today. We got a lot of stuff done. A lot of stuff done. We do still have unemployed beavers. Plenty more we can be doing. I think probably the easiest way to solve this would be to put in another hauling post. Oh, hold on. That wasn't even fully staffed. Alright, well that solves a lot of that problem. And then just find some sort of empty space somewhere. Like right here, to be a hauling post would not be a bad idea. But yeah, I think that makes the most sense. I appreciate you guys. Tremendous amount of support today. What, 81 new members? Fantastic stuff. I want to make sure I didn't miss anything in chat. Let's see. A friend managed to cycle to the next station to catch a train, having seen he was too late to get it at his local station. Yeah, I saw a video of a guy in London who raced the underground from station to station because of the configuration of the station entrances and the way that the tube was going underground. He actually managed to hop off the tube, sprint to the next station, and get on the same train, which I thought was a really funny video. But anyway, all that being said, I do actually have to go, record tomorrow's video and do adult things, because there's all sorts of projects I've been putting off to make videos, which I need to stop doing. Well, I don't need to stop making videos, but I need to stop putting off real life stuff. But I appreciate you guys tremendously, and all of the support especially really helps keep things going here, and helps me out outside of the YouTube sphere as well, so I can take care of all of my real life obligations and advance a bunch of other fun projects I'm working on. So I really appreciate you. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and we'll see you back again very soon. Take care, friends. Bye-bye.